seconds to air. Stand by, all cameras.
1 and 2 ready.
Stand by to open your mics on the field.
Standing.
Ready, stand by. Slow-mo.
Slow-mo's ready.
3, 2, 1. Take tape.
From the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, a special Thursday edition of ABC's NFL Football. The New England Patriots against the Miami Dolphins. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers, who invite you to stop in and see all the new Buicks now during their holiday get-together. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. There is excitement. There is electricity in the Orange Bowl tonight. The reason, at the top, the two teams we'll watch tonight at 8-5. New England and Miami both tied at 8-5 records. The coaches, the players, they all feel this is it. This is the showdown, because they do not feel a team with 6 losses in their column will make the playoffs. You can see why, because of the standings in the AFC Central and the AFC West. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and you can feel it here tonight, because they really do believe that this is it for both New England and Miami. Two yo-yo teams. They've been up and down all season. They've been tied for first 5 different times. They've had quarterback problems. And who better to explain the quarterback problems? A man who's had his own problems at quarterback. Talk about Miami, Donald.
Oh, it's showdown time. I'm so excited. I'll get it. You know what? We may have the czar of NFL coaches here tonight, Don Shula. He is the first NFL coach to win 100 games in his first decade of NFL football. And it's not by accident that he's had some help from Bob Greasy, who ranks #1 among active quarterbacks with 99 career victories in games that he started. Could you ask for a better one? Here the coach sends in the quarterback. Yeah, but that ain't going to happen tonight, because you know why? He's going with his backup quarterback, Don Strock. Here's the guy who has started. This will be his 14th game that he's going to start tonight. I don't know what's going on, but he made a choice. Bob came in last week, won the game after Strock was knocked out against Baltimore. It's going to be fun. I can hardly wait, Frank. What can I tell you?
It really is. And not with us tonight, Howard Cosell is in Las Vegas, where tomorrow night ABC will bring 3 championship fights. Headlined, of course, by Sugar Ray Leonard's battle for the WBC Welterweight Championship against Wilfred Benitez. He'll be reporting at halftime, and keep an eye on us, Coach. We'll try to do our very best without you. And while I mentioned the quarterback problems of Miami, well, New England has had their problems, too. Their beleaguered quarterback, Steve Grogan, calling for a backup, are the fans, many times over this past season. Here to delineate that story, Fran Tarkenton.
Well, Steve Grogan's had problems, too, and the big problem that New England has not scored a touchdown here since '75, have not won here since 1966. That's Grogan's big problem. Back to you, Frank.
And as you can see, the Miami Dolphins will be kicking off. The New England Patriots receding to the right. And there is an incredible air of excitement. Uwe von Schaumann will kick, and deep is Ray Claiborne. They're bringing out their guns tonight. Claiborne bobbles the ball at the 10-yard line. Now this is Alan Clark, and Alan Clark out over the 15 to the 17-yard line. New England receiving. Last night I had a chance to talk with Don Shula. I asked him how you defense a quarterback like Steve Grogan. He'll run, he'll pass, he'll do it all.
Grogan was the difference in the game up in New England early in the year. We started out, we had a halftime lead, but in the second half, Grogan took over. He ran with the football for key yardage. He threw it extremely well. He didn't have any interceptions. We got to force Grogan into making some errors.
The words of Don Shula, considered by many the master, the last word in the coaching profession. New England with the football. 1st and 10. Hand off. Goes to Horace Ivory, and Ivory moves out close to a first down. And let's meet this offensive unit. Grogan, you saw at quarterback. He's number 14. He does it all. He maybe tries to hold it too long, gets caught many times. The setbacks, number 23, Horace Ivory. Don Calhoun is in there tonight because of an injury to Sam Cunningham. Wide receiver, Harold Jackson and Stanley Morgan. They are something. There's your offensive line. It's had troubles over the air at the tackle positions. We'll talk about that. And Ivory picks up the first down on the very first play. Grogan hands off to Don Calhoun. He's piled up at the line of scrimmage, the middle of the Dolphins line. Bob Baumauer in there in the bottom, big number 73. And let's meet the 3-4 that Miami will employ on 1st and 10. Baumauer, the nose guard, Doug Betters and Vern Den Herter. Their linebackers. When they go to a 4-3, Kim Bocamper will be the down man on the left side. He's big, he's strong. He can play both linebacker and a down lineman. And the cornerbacks, Norris Thomas and Gerald Small, they're both having terrific years. The question mark perhaps at free safety, where Neil Colsey, traded here from the Oakland Raiders, has had his problems thus far this year. Calhoun picks up 3, a second down 7.
Big hole.
Huge hole as
All
Calhoun
right.
exploits it out close to another first down near the 37-yard line. Don Calhoun in there tonight because the leading rusher of the New England Patriots, Sam Cunningham, was unavailable last week because of a sore ankle. He's unavailable, obviously, tonight, although he is in uniform and could be coming into the ball game. Harold Jackson goes right. The second leading receiver in the NFL with yardage per catch, averaging over 22 yards. The leader, he's on the other side. He's Stanley Morgan of the New England Patriots. Here comes Calhoun, right side, piled up there. Runs into Bocamper and Rusty Chambers.
All right, Frank, as we look here, Grogan's going to probably have to throw the ball. And the 5 defeats of the New England Patriots, he's only completed 38% of his passes. Of his 21 touchdown passes, he only threw 5 of them in those 5 defeats. And of his 17 interceptions, 11 of them came in those 5 defeats. How he plays is a very big key of how New England is going to play tonight. Now he's in a passing situation.
The tight end, the great one, is number 81, Russ Francis. Lined up, top of your screen. Grogan has the time. A man is wide open.
Wow.
Deep downfield. He fires it. It's complete to Stanley Morgan. First down. Just inside the 45-yard line of Miami. Let's look at it from the end
All
zone.
right, here we go from the end zone. Don Grogan's going back. This is a good, solid throw. I thought Stanley Morgan, once he caught it, had room to run to the football. He caught it and then fell down. I don't know why he did that.
Well, we won't worry about that. He was wide open, and he picked him up a good first down, second and long. Grogan's got him on the move.
There he is. What a speed burner he is, averaging 24 yards a catch. He didn't hurt himself there. On 1st and 10, handoff. Horace Ivory. No, he's piled up quickly. And a big man again, Kim Bocamper. He's 6'6", 245 pounds. He can play linebacker. He roams around. He can play that defensive down position. When he came up 3 years ago, he was so eager to pop people that he made a lot of errors. He's getting over that. He is becoming, well, really an all-pro at that position. There was a loss of about a half a yard. It'll be second down and long. Good time for a blitz for Miami if they'd like to come with it. Jackson, split right. Grogan has the time. No blitz, a lot of time. This is Calhoun. Calhoun back to the line of scrimmage, gets a yard, hit again by Bocamper, who's all over the field thus far this evening.
Don, it's interesting so far as I've watched the Miami secondary. The wide receivers are running pretty free on the defensive backs. The linebackers are up jamming those backs, as we saw right there on that hit. Grogan, it looks like, will have to go down the field to his wide receivers. They're the people to hit.
Kozlowski, a rookie from Colorado, comes in the secondary for Miami. Number 37 as they deploy 5 members of that secondary, anticipating the Grogan pass on 3rd down and 8. Ball just inside the 44-yard line. 4-man rush. Grogan sacked for the 36th time this year, all the way back to the 47-yard line. Doug Betters was in there first, and this is what Don Shula said that the Dolphins would have to do.
Well, you mentioned this, Fran, earlier. Now, this is the, 36th sack of the year. Grogan, known as a running quarterback, calling his own plays this year, has not run that much, but the sacks have really gone up a great deal.
And that time he had no chance. Bocamper really is the guy that forced him there. Too many people in there for him to run around.
Bocamper coming from the down lineman position. Tony Nathan is deep, leading the NFL in punt returns. Eddie Hare, the rookie from Tulsa, having a tough time thus far this year, but he aims it high. Nathan.
Good break right there.
And Nathan taking the chance, taking the risk. And it pays off as he moves out to the 33-yard line, hit there by Steve King. Explosive action here in the first few minutes. We'll be back in a moment. Miami with their first possession of the night. The quarterback is Don Strock. He became the starter a week ago when head coach Don Shula and Bob Greasy agreed he was not moving the offense. But he had to go out in the second quarter. Greasy came in and won it over Baltimore. But this is Don Strock, 6'5", a 220-pounder. Setbacks, the big man, number 39, Larry Zonka. And Del Williams, still nursing sore ribs, number 24. He gets the initial call and moves out over the 35 to the 37. And offensively, you saw the setbacks of Zonka and Williams, the quarterback Don Strock. Let's take a look at the wide receivers. They're a super pair, as are the New England Patriots. Nat Moore, he can go deep, he can work well underneath. Duriel Harris is there, and the tight end is Bruce Hardy, a 3-year man out of Arizona State. There's the offensive line. Bob Kuchenberg, perhaps the best, over on the left side at left tackle. Mark Dennard at center, replacing Jim Langer, who went on the injured reserve just yesterday. Jim Langer, the all-pro center, perhaps had played his final game for Miami. 2nd down and 6. The ball at the 38-yard line. Handoff, Dale Williams. Slips, tries to hustle. And we had an opportunity to talk to Don Strock last night, and we discussed with him what he felt he could do to exploit this #1 defense in the NFL, New England.
I don't know if they have any definite weaknesses, but they're so strong in the front line and their rush that they make you hurry throwing your passes a lot. And we may have to start with our short passing game to bring the linebackers up and then try to get the deeper ball in.
3rd down, call it 5. Out comes Zonka, in comes Tony Nathan, the rookie from Alabama. He wears 22. Fairly good receiver. Gary Davis, a good receiver. 27's in there.
Got a little movement.
Movement. You saw the flag. Whistles blow. Play blown dead. Here's our call. Our referee tonight.
Number 71, offense.
Our referee tonight is Dick Jorgensen. He'll be bringing you the call. My current false start, as you heard. And the discussion now on the field. And will be marched off. Bringing up 3rd down. We'll call it 10. And let's meet the defense. 3-man down for New England. Ray Hamilton, the nose guard. Mel Lunsford at one side, but he'll be relieved by Tony McGee, perhaps the best sacker of the New England defense. Those are your linebackers, and believe me, they are really something else, particularly that Steve Nelson. We'll talk about him. The cornerbacks, I think as good a pair of cornerbacks as there is in the entire NFL. As I said, New England, the #1 team in the league defensively. Gary Davis and Nat Moore, the 2 principal receivers, and Strock goes for Moore. Should have had it. It would have been a 1st down close to midfield. That brings up 4th down.
Put a little pressure on him there. The ball was catchable, but he had some New England guys right there around him. Frank, I think it's kind of interesting, and Fran, to look at that defensive secondary of the Patriots. It's the first time that all starters back there. Claiborne Hayes, who, well, actually, we got Sanford and Tim Fox. They're all #1 draft choices, and you get that kind of draft back there. Those guys start playing together. They're going to do some good ball.
On the 4th down, out comes George Roberts, averaging a little over 39 yards per punt. He's been blocked 1 time at 58 attempts, and this man, Stanley Morgan, can really motor. He hasn't been able to break one off recently, but he has in the past. He has great speed. He's positioned at about the 23-yard line for New England. Roberts with a long count. Has to hurry. Fair catch called for, and the rush was on to block the punt. Morgan calls for the fair catch, has the ball at the 28-yard line, and we'll be back in the Orange Bowl in just a moment.
Buick proudly announces some very fine cars and some very good thinking.
The 4.1-liter Electra. American.
8:26 remaining in the 1st quarter. Miami and New England, all the players feel this is it. They do not feel that if they lose tonight, that they will be able to get into the playoffs. The reason, quite simply, because the AFC is crowded with teams who will probably not have 6 losses. So the heat and the competition tonight. On 1st and 10, Horace Ivory gets the call out of the 30-yard line. A gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Baumauer in the bottom of that pile.
Andy, when you weren't with us in Seattle last week, we talked about the new NFL, where people are throwing the ball on 1st down 50% of the time, or their plays are pass plays. These 2 teams are just the opposite. They like to establish the run. They'll run the ball 2 out of every 3 plays. And we're seeing it so far tonight. They're keeping it on the ground on 1st down.
On 2nd and 8, Grogan, who calls his own plays. Puts Harold Jackson to the right, Stanley Morgan to the left. Play action. Looking for the big man, Russ Francis, who catches the ball short of the 1st down, out close to the 37. He had to get just beyond the 38. Rusty Chambers all over Mr. Russ Francis, who for 3 consecutive years has been an all-pro, shooting for a 4th, and if he makes it this time around, he'll be playing January 27th in what he calls his home, Honolulu, Hawaii.
Aloha. That looked like to me he was trying to set up a screen pass that time, Francis, and didn't really set up, and he threw to Francis as kind of an alternate route. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. It was a good reaction by Grogan. They got the big boys in for the 3rd down plunge.
About 1.5 yards. Calhoun gets the call.
Oh, no.
Calhoun is met by Bokemper. It'll be progress. I think he's short. Bob Baumauer was in on the stop.
And we got a New England Patriot down on the field, Frank.
Old Baumauer, the old boy from Alabama.
I'll tell you, that's an offensive lineman, and New England really cannot afford to lose an offensive lineman. They are hurting at both tackles. They brought in Gary Petts 2 weeks ago. Thursday, he had to start. He had been out of football for several weeks. They have Shelby Jordan injured at one tackle. They have Dwight Wheeler. He is also injured.
Frank, do you think they're second-guessing themselves now on trading Leon Gray, the perennial All-Pro, away to the Houston Oilers?
All right, that's 4th down. Eddie Hare will do the punting for New England. Tony Nathan is back at the 25-yard line of Miami, and he's a threat. High snap.
Oh, yeah, got a flag.
And a flag is down, as Hare is also down.
It's roughing the kicker. No doubt
Norris
about it.
Thomas was in there on Hare. He must have thought he could get it. Let's take a look.
Well, here's classic, Don. He didn't go after in front of the foot. He went right at the man.
Well, you know, he really thought, I think he was going to block that when there was always a high snap, and he saw Hare take a extra long step, but he just, as a matter of judgment, he didn't get it. A big first down. Hare, coming into this game, had the lowest. He was ranked 28 in his net yardage punting. That was 30 yards. So that's been an area in New England's attack. We'll get the call here in a minute. Tell us what we already know.
Running into the kicker, number 41, defense.
All right.
First down.
It was Norris Thomas. You saw it. Thomas, I'm sure, felt that he could get to the ball. Bob Kreider, by the way, has replaced Sam Adams, number 75, at right guard for New England. The first down was out at the 42-yard line. 6:43 remaining in the first quarter. Inside handoff. Horace Ivory. And Ivory squirts out over the 45 for a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. The 3-year man from Oklahoma who had over 400 yards coming into tonight's game.
Don, that's really not enough on first down. I always felt that on the first down, if you ran the ball, you need to get at least 4 and hopefully 5. That put the defense on the defensive. They've only had one play on first down where they got more than 4 or 5 yards. The rest of them have been 3 or under.
All right, let's see what he can do.
That is some story. They have not won here either, as Fran mentioned earlier, since 1966. This is Horace Ivory. Turns the corner. No place to go. Doug Betters and Bob Baumauer. Betters 75, Baumauer 73, and Betters has played superb football for Miami. As we look at Sam Adams, well, just about all of these offensive linemen for New England have been playing hurt. Quite frankly, that's pretty much the story around the entire NFL when you get into the 14th week of the season. Third and 6.
Don, the key here, watch the 2 offensive tackles of the Patriots. See if they're able to block Ben Herter and Betters.
That's Petts on the right side, 77. Pete Brock on the left side, 58. Grogan fires for Russ Francis. A spectacular catch inside the 40. First down, New England. And this man continues to amaze even those of us who have watched this game for so many years.
Watch Grogan here. He does an excellent job here. You watch Ben Herter coming in your picture. He's going to really level him. Grogan makes a great throw. Francis makes a great catch. Grogan's off to a good start tonight.
I'm going to call that catch maybe even better than that throw, because if you'll notice, that old boy stretches out. Didn't you like to have your big old tight ends do that?
Helps that percentage.
It's kind of a key, too, I think, because we are working on it. As Rick Sanford is not used to that strong safety position, he's going to be... Actually, I got that mixed up.
This is Don Calhoun, and he bobbles the football. Miami has it. Miami comes up with the football. Don Calhoun with the ball carrier. And Miami gets the first turnover of the night, and this game could be predicated on that. It was Tim Foley. Frank Gifford along with Don Meredith, Fran Tarkenton, Howard Cosell in Las Vegas for a triple-headed championship fight card coming your way on ABC tomorrow night. 1st and 10, the Miami Dolphins. Tim Foley coming up with the fumble by Calhoun. Duriel Harris split to the left. Ball at the 36-yard line. Play action by Strock. Has a lot of time. And the man he checked off to was Nat Moore, short, incomplete.
He did everything right there. He got a good play pass action. We looked at Russ Francis. He looked left. He looked the defense off. And then he threw the ball in the dirt.
Short-armed it.
He did.
Yeah, I think he was trying to go to that other side. A little play-action pass, Francis, where he probably hit that back coming out in the short flat or one of those receivers over there. So he did come back to a second or third receiver.
But, Don, I always thought that was a look of tension. When somebody throws the ball short early in the game, you think there's a little tension there in that arm. I'm sure it is.
Tony McGee comes in. He's number 78. You'll see him at the bottom of your screen. He's the best pass rusher for New England. Leads them in sacks. He moves around. Now he moves over to the right side. They try to get him free, get him the best position. But on 2nd and 10, Bill Williams gets the running play call, stacked up at the line of scrimmage, and it was Ray Hamilton sliding over from his middle position to make the stop. A gain of maybe a half a yard. It'll be 3rd and 10. And then comes the offensive pass set for Miami. Tonight, that appears to be Gary Davis, number 27, a good receiver. Tony Nathan, the rookie from Alabama, gifted all-around athlete. And Jimmy Cefalo, Duriel Harris, and Nat Moore. Out comes the tight end, Bruce Hardy. Of course, New England also adjusts. They take out Steve Nelson, and they bring in a 5th secondary back. That would be Prentice McRae. 3rd and 10. Nat Moore in motion. Strock has the time. Underthrows.
You might have hit it, Francis.
Incomplete. That will bring up 4th down. Pass intended for Nat Moore, and let's pick him up.
All right, here's Nat Moore. He went in motion. He gets by the first chuck. Just does a little curl in there. He's open. Ball is too low, and he short-hopped it. Didn't get away with it. That's 2 straight short balls by Strock. Ain't a good start.
George Roberts will punt. Morgan, the speedster, at the 22-yard line of New England. No score, 3:45 remaining in the first quarter. Showdown between New England and Miami. Both teams in the playoff last year. Both teams knocked off by Houston. Roberts hangs it high. A beautiful punt. Morgan lets it bounce, and it takes a New England bounce into the end zone. It'll be a touchback.
Good little job of theatrics there.
A very chancy move by Stanley Morgan. 63-yard punt. George Roberts will be back in this electrified Orange Bowl in a moment. If you get the feeling this game is being played a little close to the vest, that's the feeling that I have, Don Meredith has, Fran Tarkenton has, so much on the line.
But Frank, it's interesting to note that Grogan is starting off 4 for 4. Strock started off 0 for 3. Grogan's got some rhythm going. Strock doesn't, Don.
I think Don Strock has been a little bit hesitant, and that might be the cause of it. Let's see what Grogan can do. Handoff.
On 1st and 10, Calhoun right side, and Calhoun out to the 24-yard line. To pick up the 4, it'll be 2nd down and 6. Grogan, much maligned. He'll tell you himself, in a visit with him last night, he said, if I have anything wrong with me, he said, I'm just a little too intense. And Don Shula, well, you talk about Mr. Intensity in every way. Had one losing season in 17.
That is an amazing record when you think about all the different things that can happen. And his counterpart, Ron Earhart, on the other side, is just kind of getting into this thing as a head coach.
2nd down, 6. Play action. Grogan.
Look out.
Tries to run and piled up. Steve Toll was there. Baumauer was there. And Verndon Herter. And this is what Miami has been being hurt with over the past 2 years. Brian Sykes at Cleveland hurt them. They were hurt in Baltimore with the quarterback coming out and picking up additional yardage and first downs. This time they were all over perhaps the best running quarterback in football, Steve Grogan. And it will be 3rd down now and 11. Back at the 19.
One of the keys that last time is they had 7 guys really in defensive secondary coverage, so they trapped him with only 4 guys rushing. That's pretty good.
Grogan now has been sacked twice. He's been sacked 35 times coming into tonight. Grogan, strong arms out to Stanley Morgan. And Morgan, who you really have to respect because of his blazing speed, gets the first down.
Here it is from the end zone, and he's really throwing strikes. He's holding the ball a little longer than he needs to be holding it, but when he throws it, he is throwing a strike. He's got a lot of people around that ball. He threw it over the linebacker. Perfect throw. Good catch by Morgan.
Right over the linebacker, right in front of Norris Thomas. Beautifully thrown, as you can see, almost all by his arm. He is a strong young man out of Kansas.
I'll tell you, he'll find it much easier to throw on first down if he'll do it occasionally.
The ball at the 37-yard line. We're inside 2 minutes of the first quarter. Picked off.
Oh, boy.
For Stanley Morgan. Gerald Small comes up with it. And Gerald Small, who was explosive a year ago in December, comes up with another Miami turnover. They'll have a 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Grogan tried to read the blitz, hit Stanley Morgan, threw it behind him. Small made a spectacular catch.
I didn't mean for him to hit Gerald Small.
You're right there. He's a little too cute. You see, that was a little quick fake turnaround.
But he has the man wide open.
Yeah, they've been trying to work on this thing, I'm sure, all week in practice to take advantage of this, and he just missed his receiver. Hit Small right between the 4 and the 8.
Well, there really wasn't much patience there, Don. He really should let the linebacker clear, but Rusty Chambers got a hand on the ball, deflected it right into Gerald Small's hand, and then we have really the big break of the night right here.
Number 51, the linebacker, Rusty Chambers. Got a finger on it. That was enough. Small gets the turnover. Inside the 17-yard line, right at the 16, they mark it. Larry Zonka, single setback. 2 tight ends. Ronnie Lee, the rookie from Baylor, was in there. With Bruce Hardy, Zonka gets the call. Gets inside the 15 to the 13 for a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down 7.
Don, this defensive team are looking out at the Patriots leads the league. They've had something like 55 sacks. They're an excellent defensive team. It's not going to be easy for the Dolphins to get in here as we see the first quarter ticking down almost to the minute mark.
Considerable breeze here tonight. Hard to determine which team it will affect. The swirls here in the Orange Bowl. 2nd and 7. Zonka remains. The single setback. 2 tight end offense. Drop back. It's a block from Zonka and in out of the hands of Bruce Hardy. Bruce Hardy, who can catch the football. Andre Tillman, of course, broke his leg in training camp. Bruce Hardy took over the job at the tight end, and while he is a pretty good receiver, perhaps better than Tillman, he loses somewhat in the blocking department. 3rd down 7.
Don, pretty good throw that time because if he underthrows him, Rod Schultz, the linebacker, number 56, had a clear path to the goal line, the other end of the field.
3rd and 7. New England leads the entire NFL in quarterback sacks with 52. Strock knows that. Tony Nathan, 22. Gary Davis, those are the setbacks. Strock has to hurry, fires in the end zone, incomplete. Intended for one or the other, either Nat Moore or Duriel Harris. They were both in the area. Strock is 0 for 5. 4th down, we'll see Uwe von Schamann coming on for the field goal attempt. He's 17 of 23, but he's 13 of the last 15. The older Don Strock.
You like to be in a position to make a field goal, but when you have a big turnover like that, as we've said so many times, games are often decided on those turnovers. You'd like to think with 3 downs you can make more than 2 yards, but they didn't.
Uwe von Schamann, 31-yard attempt. Von Schamann, of course, the man who replaced Garo Yepremian.
Man holds the NCAA record for consecutive points after touchdown with 125, and he just hooked one through right there for 3.
Smooth as glass for Uwe von Schamann. And with 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Miami has the lead 3-0. A sellout crowd. This game being televised in the Miami area. Compliments, quite frankly, of our affiliate here, Channel 10. They bought up the remaining 128 tickets as we look at Alan Clark, deep for New England. Uwe von Schamann, who hit from 31 yards out to put Miami on top. Hits the ball. It'll be taken short, but it will be taken by Clark at the 15. And the rookie from Northern Arizona moves out over the 30-yard line, close to the 32, where New England, who has turned the ball over twice. And as we were talking while we were away, Don and Brian and I, it perhaps is a little bit of a moral victory for them, and they only gave up 3 points with a fumble and an interception.
Don, you don't think that turnovers make a difference in this game? Miami's leading the game 3-0. They've got 10 yards total offense, and Strock is 0 for 5 passing. The 3 points come from the intercepted pass that Grogan threw to Norris Thomas.
Steve Grogan, who made his 62nd consecutive start. That's top sprinting quarterback in the NFL. He's tough, big, raw bone. perhaps maybe likes to hold a little longer than he should because he has so much confidence that he can run if he has to. Hands off to Horace Ivory, right side, piled up, 83, burned in, hurt it there first, right at the line of scrimmage, and they may lose a half a yard. Miami Dolphins, they were number 1 in the NFL defensively 3 weeks ago. They are now 5th, so you can imagine what happened with Cleveland and Baltimore. They piled up almost 1,000 yards against him in the past 2 weeks, and New England has emerged this week as the number 1 defensive team in the NFL.
You know, as long as there's a number 1 in scoring, they were tied there as we end the first quarter. And I guess Miami, once again, they've only allowed 3 touchdowns in the first quarter all year, and so they can keep that string going.
Much is on the line here in the Orange Bowl tonight. We'll be returning in just a moment. They're looking to be number 1, and it could emerge from this game tonight. They both have 8-5 records, the Dolphins and the New England Patriots. They both have 2 games remaining after this Thursday night contest. Next week, New England will play the Jets in New York, then they close at home against Minnesota as we look at the first quarter stats. For the Miami Dolphins, well, they have 2 remaining. They travel to Detroit a week from Sunday, and then they play their final game here in the Orange Bowl, and they play it against, yes, the Jets. 2nd and 11. Grogan puts everyone in the pattern. There's a man open deep, and it's Stanley Morgan.
He fumbled.
He fumbles the ball.
That is amazing. 3 turnovers in a
Tim
row.
Foley gets his 2nd fumble of the night.
That is discouraging for poor old Grogan. Let's give him credit. He has been criticized that he couldn't throw the ball up over linebackers. He goes back. Watch him feather this ball in there right down the middle. This is a pass. This is not a thrown ball. This is a well-passed ball. Over linebackers in front of defensive backs. But the result, a fumble by Morgan. 3 turnovers. And the Dolphins are still looking for their first down of the night.
Colsey applied the hit. Foley was there. He gets his 2nd fumble of the night. He's playing just absolutely superb football for Miami. Has for the past couple of seasons since he moved over the strong safety from the cornerback. The ball is at the 46-yard line of Miami. Strock on 1st down. Going to the bomb. Nat Moore is back there dueling with Ray Claiborne. And the flag goes down. It is Ray Claiborne and Nat Moore.
That got to be an offensive interference on that one, I would say.
I don't see how it could be defense. I'm interested to see this call.
Offensive interference. You'll see it as Nat Moore runs right up Claiborne. Claiborne was looking for the ball. That's the key to it.
Very good
playing the ball.
You know, Frankie, also, Claiborne he really had good position on him all the time. There was no way Nat Moore was going to beat him. He was in that back pedal position as a cornerback. Sometimes has difficulty learning. Claiborne seems to be born with that particular talent. But he had him in good position that time. He also has great speed, so Nat Moore didn't get close to getting behind him.
He really did. Listen. All right, here's the official's call. We're talking about
interference, number 89, offense, still first down.
Dick Jorgensen tells us what you just saw. Don Shula saying he doesn't like it.
I really thought it was a good play by Nat Moore, though. He tried to prevent the interception, maybe get an interference call. You want your receiver to fight for the ball like that, and he did, but he got caught.
The ball now back at the 36-yard line is 1st down and 20. New England, they like to blitz. They drop back. Come with their 3 down men. And it's Adele Williams. It was kind of a shaky screen, but it was good for 9 yards. And big number 78, Tony McGee, was right in the face of Don Strock, but he got it off.
I'll tell you, Sugar Bear Hamilton was out there too, and he played it pretty well. It's one of those things close, but no blue chips. He was trying to get in front of that thing, and he couldn't knock it down. Dale Williams was there. There's a shot of Grogan on the side. Now, Steve, you just kind of settle down, son. It's going to be all right. You can tell he's worried, isn't he?
He's really worried.
No, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. Come on now, Steve. 6 out of 7, 84 for 1. That's not
2nd down and 11. Steve Howell, a rookie from Baylor, comes in replacing Larry Zonka. He's in there with Dell Williams. Howell is number 36. The ball at the 45-yard line. Handoff, Dell Williams tries to shoot to the outside, and there's a little success. Missed there by Rick Sanford, but taken by Steve Nelson. And he gets about 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
All right, here's Steve Nelson, by far their leading tackler out of Anoka, Minnesota. This man can play football. He plays the run as good as any linebacker in football, as you see right here. Rick Sanford missed the The tackle, but then he got it. We got a penalty here.
There's a late flag, and it's going to be marked off against New England. I believe it's going to be a roughing call. Steve Nelson says, tell me about it. And this will be Dick Jorgensen, our referee.
Personal foul, pushing it back after the whistle blow. Number 71, defense, first down.
Ray Hamilton, a veteran from Oklahoma.
Oh, boy. Well, New England is making a lot of mistakes early part of this game.
Digging himself a big hole.
But they are down by only 3. 3-0. Quick toss, Zonka. Tries to use his 237 pounds. A flag is down, as you saw. Zonka gets to the 35-yard line.
Has to be a holding or a clipping out there on the tight end of the flanker back off that corner or something like that.
Holding is going to go against Miami.
They can't seem to get on track. We're going to have interference. Roughing them or holding. They're just sputtering around back and forth. Can you imagine what it'd be like? Now, Zonka had a pretty good head of steam that time.
Holding, number 24, offense, still first down.
Dale Williams holding. Down remains the same. It's first down and 20 once again.
Now send me in that play, Coach, because I don't know what to call on first and 20.
Oh, those are easy.
The ball is at the 47-yard line of New England. We have 13:34 remaining in the first half. Gary Davis is in, 27, with Steve Howell, 36. Strock with a lot of time. Hangs it high, intended for Bruce Hardy, and Bruce Hardy was pounded there. He knew he would be. It was Tim Fox. And Mike Haynes, both of them back there defending.
Frank, you know, when you get into a game like this, you look for the truly great players to have a part in it, to make the big plays that really will turn the game around. So far, we really haven't had many big plays, except the interception by Thomas. But you just know that somebody like this, number 81, Russ Francis, might figure very prominently in this game before it's over with.
Second down, 20. All right at the 47-yard line. Ron Earhart, who was a co-head coach here 1 year ago. And Chuck Fairbanks shocked the football world, saying he was going back to collegiate football. He was dismissed from that game right on the spot, the final game of the season. Second down, 20. Gary Davis turns a corner and collides there with the New England defender, Rod Choate, the right linebacker, but not until he had picked up about 5 yards. It'll be third down and 14.
He got that play off offensively before I think the defense was set that time. I saw Hawkins, Mike Hawkins, the linebacker. He wasn't down. There's a shot of Big Zonk on the side. You can see how what kind of year he's had, the leading rusher here.
He's having a great year, and Big Zonk told me a few weeks ago that he probably won't play next year because his offensive linemen are going to be going away. He's talking about Current and Little and Langer all saying they're going to either retire or go somewhere else.
The ball inside the 42-yard line, third down, 14. Strock hangs it up deep into a crowd. Jimmy Cephalo went up with number 34, Prentice McRae.
Jimmy Cephalo out of Penn State, Frank. First catch he has had in 9 ball games. He was the MVP of the Cotton Bowl as a freshman at Penn State when they beat Baylor. And he's the kind of guy that a lot of times the pros say, hey, this guy won't make it. He's too slow, he's not big enough. And he has not had a good year as far as receiving, but watch the footwork this time. Pretty well covered, wouldn't you say, Francis?
He was. And watch Prentice McRae. Prentice McRae really went up as you see his feet come down inside.
Look at Cephalo's right foot. Moved it back across.
That is some play.
That's walking the old line.
That is beautiful.
But Prentice McRae really had a play on the ball, and he mistimed his jump. Result, Miami's got the ball on the 10-yard, 11-yard line.
And a first down. They lead 3-0. Zonka comes back in. He usually gets the heavy work down here. He gets it off the left side.
There he goes. There he goes.
Zonka. He'll have a first down. And he will be inside the 1-yard line. And Zonka, who just went over 700 yards in rushing for the year, has had a spectacular comeback.
How would you like to be a little middle defensive back, 190 pounds like Rick Sanford here. And Haynes, 25 and 40. Here comes Zonka. Nobody's taking him on nose to nose. They're trying to take him on the side. Not much way to get that big man down when he rambles in. They're ready to go in and get this game up to 10-0.
Oh, they're moving right along.
Harry Zonka, he came into tonight's game. He only needed 61 yards to become the 6th player in the history of this game to gain 8,000 in his career.
How about Zonka off the left?
Suits me.
I'll buy that. And also easy. Bouncing off Rick Sanford, but not until he was in the end zone. And Miami has extended their lead over the Patriots. 9-0. And let's look again. He's tough down here.
Good charge by the offensive line. Kuchenberg, Newman, Dennard.
Good block by number 24, Dell Williams. Buried the cornerback, Zonka easily into the end zone.
That's his 8th touchdown this year. And the Miami defense has only given up 7 touchdowns, so they'll swap Zonka against the whole group.
Von Schaman for the conversion. I don't have to tell you where this game is being played. The crowd waving their handkerchiefs.
All right, let's watch one more time. The blocking on the left side of the line of the Miami Dolphins. There's 84, Bruce Hardy. There's Kuchenberg. There's 86, Ronnie Lee. They're all getting a surge. All Zonka had to do was just zip on into the end zone. The Dolphins have a 10-0 lead. And the Patriots better get their act together if they want to get back into this game. We'll be back in just a minute.
The Orange Bowl in Miami. Happy Orange Bowl at the moment with 11:39 remaining in the half. The Dolphins out in front, 10-0. Von Schaman kicks deep is Don Westbrook. Another New England speedster. He takes it at the 11-yard line. And pounded as he gets out to the 23-yard line where New England will take possession. I'd like to tell you about some of the other college games you're going to be seeing on Saturday at 12:30 Eastern Time, leading up, of course, to the Army-Navy Classic. The Amos Alonzo Stag Bowl, an NCAA Division III championship game, Ithaca at Whittingburg. Also NCAA Division II semifinals, Alabama A&M against Youngstown State, and Mississippi College at Delaware. That's all over most of these ABC stations. NCAA college football coming your way on Saturday.
And what is old Grogan going to do now?
He's going to hand off to Calhoun.
And Calhoun over the 25 for a gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Meanwhile, Bob Greasy studying the charts. He came in a week ago, as we mentioned a couple of times, when Don Strock got pounded up in Baltimore. The bells went off. The birds started to chirp. Greasy came in, threw a couple touchdown passes, and pulled it out. So Don Shula, of course, has no hesitation to going to his man, Bob Greasy, that's carried him for so many years. On 2nd and 7. Calhoun does not hold on. Incomplete.
I was fairly interested, Frank, in an article I read down here. They've been giving Greasy, of course, a lot of trouble this year. Even some of the players have been critical of his play. And he says, you know, I've been a starting pitcher since I was in the little leagues and the pony leagues. Said I've never been a reliever. He says, but I think the time has come for I can be a good relief quarterback. I found that was kind of surprising. I mean, you know, a lot of guys that have played for a long time, that was his statement and not somebody else's. So maybe he has accepted this role very well.
I think it's the quality of the man. He does not want to cause any problems. He's very close to Don Shula. They had many discussions before it took place. Grogan, 3rd down, 7. Grogan, Morgan is open. Incomplete. Defensive play there by the rookie from Colorado. What a surprisingly welcome rookie this young man has been. Kozlowski, he was there. It made Grogan throw the ball ahead of Morgan.
Here's Stanley Morgan running the Z out pattern. You'll see Kozlowski come into the play, and I thought it was interference, but as I saw the replay, it wasn't. Good that the official didn't throw a flag there. Good defensive play. Pretty good throw, though.
Eddie Hare will punt as New England is having a difficult time getting on track. They've turned the football over. They're down 10-0, and they're kicking to a dangerous man. A rookie from Alabama, Tony Nathan, averaging over 12 yards per return, leading the NFL. Hare again has to hurry, and Nathan has to go for a fair catch, bobbles it, and covers it at the 38-yard line. But once again, Miami will have good field position. They'll have their 1st and 10 at their own 38, and we'll be back in just a moment. The import of this game, tonight's loser will have 6 games in the loss column. The import, well, One of these teams will go on to win the division, and it, in all probability, is going to be the winner of tonight's game. The AFC will come from somewhere in the Central, whether the wild cards will probably come from somewhere in the Central and the Western Division of the AFC. We'll give you those standings a little later. On 1st and 10, Miami with the ball at the 38-yard line. Hand off Del Williams, right side, piled up the line of scrimmage, breaks out to the outside, gets a couple to the 40. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Dandy, I got one for you. There's an old coach back in Tennessee by the name of General Bob Naylor.
Yeah.
And he advocated that field position was the most important thing in football, so he wanted a good kicking game. Tonight, really, Miami's only had one offensive surge, but because of the turnovers, they've had good field position to start off with. The poor old Pats haven't had any at all.
I would say that there's a lot of football coaches around going to agree with the general. That's probably a pretty good way to play it. He has spread that word.
2nd and 8. Keep in mind, though, these Pats are explosive. Twice this year, they've gone over 50 points. They can hit from anywhere out with those wide receivers. Great speed on the outside. Strock hands off to Zonk. And Zonk pounds his way close to a first down. Just ran right over Mike Haynes, who is one of the better cornerbacks in football.
What a story number 39 is. As you watch Zonka get the handoff from Strock. We haven't heard of him for 3 or 4 years. Watch him just run over as Haynes tried to give him a shoulder block. That'll never get that man down. And he keeps on piling on. He is playing as good this year, Don, as I've seen him play ever.
He really has had a good year, man.
Released, of course, by the Giants last year. And last night when talking to Zonk, he said, I just would like to say something. I got the nicest letter ever written to me by Wellington Merrick, president of the Giants. And a couple days later, I received a similar letter from Andy Robustelli, the man who signed him with the Giants.
So they're saying come back home?
On 1st and 10. He got it to the line, and this is Nat Moore on the lateral. And Miami pulling the stops out as Nat Moore gets a first down. He's inside the 35, close to the 33. Sam Hunt finally took him out of bounds.
I'll tell you, if Sam Hunt wasn't there, there's no telling what this guy can do, because really an explosive runner, and had some guys out there in front of him. You can see him. Again, Haynes goes down, and that's Hunt, number 50, who came back from his linebacker position. It seems that Haynes got a little hurt on that last play and is down on the sideline. At Moore.
And he is so effective when he gets the football in his hands, whether he is running on reverses or on passes. Nat Moore gets the first down on a pickup of 18. There's Mike Haynes. He appears to be okay. Jogged off the field. He's taken a couple of vicious shots. He got one a moment ago from Zonka here against Nat Moore, and that's big run and a lateral. He goes down, and I think he just collects big number 50, Sam Hunt, who fell right on him. Sam Hunt is on the program at 250. He could be closer to 265. He's a huge man. They call him the Big Backer.
For sure, he's a load to fall on.
The first down is inside the 39-yard line. Miami moving. They lead 10-0. 9:36 remaining in the first half. The 2 tight ends are in. Strock, play action fake. Going for Duriel Harris. Picked off Prentice McRae, who came in there in relief of Mike Haynes, and New England gets their first turnover of the night, and a very timely one indeed. Had Miami put up any more points on the board, this one could have been sayonara.
And here's Duriel Harris. Could be running the post from left to right. In a minute, you'll see Prentice McRae just sitting in the middle. As you saw, the cornerback let him go in the middle. He's got to have help from McRae. He had help from McRae. Obviously, Strock didn't see him. Interception, and New England needed that Dandaroo.
Yep, they did, because Miami really not playing that well. Could have put this thing not out of reach, but it could sure put it in jeopardy based on turnovers that New England has committed so far, with penalties, fumbles, interceptions.
Steve Grogan, a new lease on life, given to him by Prentice McRae and the defensive unit of New England. Ball at their 28-yard line. On first down, Grogan will go to the air. Dumps it out to Ivory. And Ivory, with a nifty little scamper, moves for about 6 yards out to the 34. It'll be 2nd and 4, taken there by Larry Gordon, the outstanding linebacker for the Dolphins.
Well, that was a pretty good attempt to try to make a move out there. You know you're going to have somebody pretty close to you.
I don't know. You guys with your quarterback eyes, do you happen to see Russ Francis? They talk a lot in this huddle. We talked to Grogan about that. Francis will come back and say, hey, man, I was so open.
I think that's the biggest key, Frank, with the quarterback calling his plays, is that in-huddle communication.
2nd and 4. Calhoun gets the call over the left side. flag is down, and Calhoun is down at the line of scrimmage. Piled up there, Rusty Chambers and Gerald Small defensively for Miami, but a flag is down.
Obviously, Francis came back to huddle and says, give the ball to Calhoun.
Calhoun said he didn't want the ball.
These two teams with a lot of mutual respect. And New England with great respect for Miami in the Orange Bowl, where New England has not won since '66. There's going to be a holding call. It's going to work against New England. We saw Steve Toll telling us all about it.
New England is not playing like a seasoned veteran team. They're very inconsistent, as they have been all year. And another penalty hurts them as we listen for the call.
Holding number 58. Offense, still second down.
Pete Rock over the left side. You talk about their inconsistency, Fran. Well, they lost the opener to Pittsburgh in overtime. They beat the Jets 56-3 the next week. They lost to Green Bay later. They beat Miami 28-13. They lost to Baltimore. They were creamed by Denver. They came back and scored 50 points beating Baltimore. And last week, they lost in overtime to Buffalo. And this is Horace Ivory getting back to the original line of scrimmage, close to it. It'll be 3rd down and 11. Taken by Doug Betters and Bob Baumauer.
That's what you'd call a turnaround from the first to the second quarter. They're going to even this thing up first down-wise, but the first quarter really was all New England's, and with the exception of a couple of mistakes, they could have been out in front, but they didn't. They made those mistakes. Miami held on.
Back to a pass situation. He's really got to get 10 yards. He's got to go to either outside receiver or the big tight end Francis.
Morgan to the left, Harold Jackson to the right.
He's got it.
Wide open is Jackson.
He's out.
He's out.
They're marking it as good.
Oh, that's
Harold Jackson against Norris Thomas. He must have come down with his foot inbound because two officials were right on top of it.
I would like to see this. He really beat his man easily over there, Harold Jackson did. The ball's out. Going, he's got him beat by a mile. Let's watch it.
This Harold Jackson, what a player he is. You know,
oh, that's pretty.
that is really pretty.
He's seen that twice tonight.
That is fantastic.
He's the top receiver in terms of reception with 484. I guess that was his 485th among active players in the NFL today. Excuse me, there goes Calhoun.
Calhoun out of the 45 gets 4 out to the 47-yard line. 2nd down and 6. You know, if he can get 4 more, Harold Jackson, he will move into the top 10 all-time in the history of the NFL. He'll pass Don Hudson in doing so. That's Harold Jackson.
Sliding by a pretty good one there, Eddie, when he gets those extras. Look at those first 5 drives of the pass.
3 of them resulted in turnovers. And as you look, you think quarterbacks make a difference. Strock is ahead in the game, but he has not really played well tonight.
2nd and 6. Horace Ivory.
Look out.
A.J. Dewey runs him down from behind. There'll be a loss of a yard. It'll be 3rd and call it 7.
Dewey ran him down, but the guy that really did turn it in was old Tim Foley, number 25, came up from his safety. Made him slow down a little bit and let Dewey come back from the backside and take him.
Tim Foley, he's recovered a couple of fumbles tonight. He's having a big week. He's got a record album that's just come out of the market down here. He's a pretty good singer. It's Now That I've Found You.
Now That
Eddie
I Found
Collins.
All right.
Maybe you could do one late some game.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either.
Now that I've found you, what will I do?
I said late in the game.
Oh, okay.
3rd and 7.
Look out. Throw it up.
Hangs it up on the blitz for Jackson.
He caught it.
And he takes it away from Norris Thomas at the 20-yard line. And Grogan just hung it up. He read the blitz. They were all coming. They had a safety blitz on with Foley.
Oh, he really did.
He also had rush Randall. This is a pretty good goal. Whenever you got your offensive man one-on-one with a defensive man, Thomas's back's to him. Jackson makes a good old veteran move, comes inside, makes the catch. Big play. Grogan's playing pretty good. Here goes Jackson again. You see him isolated man-on-man. When you blitz, that's all you've got left. Everybody wants to criticize the cornerbacks that can't cover man for man. I haven't seen one that could yet.
And we've seen it week after week when the quarterback beats the defense. When they blitz, they've got to cover one-on-one, and that time Jackson was successful. On 1st and 10 at the 20, Horace Ivory, left side. He finds a little opening, moves down to close to the 16-yard line, gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6, and Ron Earhart likes it as is happening at the moment with 5:45 remaining here in the first half, and the Dolphins on top, 10-0.
Don, there's excitement in the air.
There's magic.
New England has a chance to score here. They haven't scored here since 75. They must be getting nervous.
They got to.
A touchdown, that is.
Have
Since
not
75.
scored a touchdown. But, you know, there's not very many folks that have. There's only been 18 touchdowns scored against Miami this year. That's the best in the NFL.
Second down, 6. Jackson in motion.
Grogan, he'll have Morgan, and in the end zone is Jackson. He had Morgan open, he had Jackson open, and he was perfect to Jackson. New England has scored their touchdown that they have been missing for the last 3 years.
Now, that was a good throw, Frank. He just a little play-action pass. You see Francis clearing that a little bit. Again, I'd call that a good pass and not a good throw. It's just right there where you got to have it.
I'll tell you, folks, Grogan's playing good, and really the thing that turned this thing around, Miami was going in for a 17-0 lead. Strock's interception looms very big right now.
And that's no Humpty Dumpty that Harold Jackson put the move on. That's Lawrence Thomas. He's a good man-for-man defender. He was beaten on the blitz a few moments ago to set up that 20-yard touchdown pass, and Jackson just breezed by him to put New England on the scoreboard. John Smith on for the conversion. Grogan holds. And New England has drawn within 3 with 5:14 remaining in the first half.
Put the coffee on, Mama. We got a game here tonight.
We're talking with Don Shula. We talked about this quarterback situation a great deal last night, and we asked him if he had any hesitancy about making a move. He made the move earlier in the year, and we asked him if he had any hesitancy about taking Strock out and bringing in Bob Greasy off the bench.
That's a decision I'd have to make, but by the same token, I don't want Don Strock going into the ballgame feeling that the first time he throws an incompleted pass or an interception that I'm going to jerk him off the field and substitute. I want him to have the feel that it's going to be his ballgame. If things aren't going well, then certainly I'm going to get Bob Greasy into the game.
And while it was not a question of Strock not going well a week ago in Baltimore, he had his bell rung in the second quarter. Greasy bounced off the bench, came in, and led Miami to a victory.
Interesting to note, Frank, Grogan is 10 of 13, 1 touchdown, 156 yards as we're midway, a little past midway of the second quarter. Not a bad night so far.
Smith pounds it. Tony Nathan at his 3-yard line for Miami. Yes, a fine football player, this rookie from Alabama, Tony Nathan. He gets out to the 27-yard line.
Oh, Harold Jackson. You know, he played in Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and here in New England. I think tonight is his 155th. Hi, Mom, Dad. Way go, Harold. 155th or 56th consecutive game. So not only is he a good player, he's durable. Maybe one follows the other.
Just caught his 487th career pass. He actually played with L.A. twice, Don. He came up in 68. They traded him to Philadelphia.
They feel like they got a good deal, too, Frank. A 3rd and 4th round draft choice.
Came a year ago from the Rams. 1st and 10. Williams gets the toss. He gets dumped right at the 25-yard line. I'll remind you that tomorrow night, I've already told you, we've got a real great fight card coming your way. Be live from Las Vegas. You're going to see the WBC World Welterweight Championship contested. Sugar Ray Leonard against Wilfred Benitez. And then also on the card live from Las Vegas, the World Middleweight Champion Vito Adafermo versus Marvin Hagler. And the WBA World Light Heavyweight Championship, Victor Galindez versus Marvin Johnson. That'll be from New Orleans. 3 championship fights coming your way tomorrow night here on ABC. A loss of 2, second down 12. Strock back looking. And he wanted Duriel Harris. Duriel Harris took a little too long making his move against Mike Haynes, and Ray Hamilton was all over Strock at the 12-yard line.
And I'll tell you another guy that made a play. It was number 55, linebacker Ray Kostick. And Davis was trying to make a move on him. He wanted to go to him second, and he couldn't get open. Good defensive play there. Strock did the right thing, pulled it down.
Frank Gifford, along with Don Meredith, Fran Tarkenton, Howard Cosell is in Las Vegas, where he'll be bringing you the highlight of that fight card tomorrow night. Sugar Ray Leonard against Wilfred Benitez. Both of them, of course, undefeated. And at halftime, Howard is going to be live from Las Vegas with Sugar Ray.
Shula's tendency in this situation to run a sweep to the strong side, to the tight end side, which would be to the upper part of the screen.
On 3rd and 23. And they may have used too much time.
Now, that's
not good.
No, that's just one of those things that you see out there that, again, you can attribute, I think, to pressure, not being in the right rhythm, or whatever it might be. You're 3rd and an awful lot to go anyway. It shouldn't take you that much time to make it up. And there are the stats you mentioned on Grogan, Brandon. They are good.
They are good. He's reacted very, very well to pressure. His team was 10-0 behind. Wasn't really his fault. And he's brought him back nicely. Now the pressure reverts to Strock. Always somebody got the heat on.
Delay of game penalty moves the ball to the 9-yard line, where it's 3rd down and 23.
I bet he sweeps now.
Well, they're still in that wide set back there, which indicates they usually pass.
Well, they're going to throw it. You're right, Dandy.
From the end zone, Strock.
Not well, but they threw it.
In the general direction of Nat Moore, and you're going to hear some of the locals start to howl. Well, a 3rd down and 28 is what it was on that call, and it's kind of hard to get it back.
Yep,
He's going to be very careful with it.
Some of the fans, I think, might have been howling because old Tony Mack, the sack McGee, came in there and hit Strock, but not really late. He just hit him and knocked him down after he threw the ball.
George Roberts' job. Kick it deep. Stanley Morgan, he thinks it's going to come down somewhere around midfield. That's where he's lined up. It's a low, but a fair catch is still called for by Stanley Morgan at the 49-yard line. And I think Morgan would have second thoughts about that. The ball was low, the kind you run back. But in any event, fine field position for New England.
Frank, when we saw this game, when the Miami played Houston down here, we kept talking about the wind all night. We looked at 2 quarterbacks getting together, saying what can we get going over here. That's where I think Greasy, by the way, can really be a big help. And what you said about him a while ago, Frank, I really believe that about him. He really does want to help the team any way he can. And obviously, one of the best ways he can, through his experience of being out there playing and talking to Don Strock.
Brogan leads the Patriots up. 1st and 10. The ball at the 48-yard line. Handoff is to Don Calhoun. He's piled up, but not until he gets into Dolphin territory near the 48. Call it a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down 7. Calhoun again in there tonight because the leading rusher for the Patriots, Sam Cunningham, has a bad ankle. He did not dress last week in the overtime loss to Buffalo. He is available perhaps tonight if he were needed. Jackson splits left. Morgan goes right. Great speed on the flank. Jackson.
Oh, yes.
All right. Harold Jackson with the nifty move inside the 30. 1st down, New England.
Nice move, Harold.
Here comes Grogan. He's throwing with confidence, Don. He comes back, sets up quick, and he just zips it out to old Jackson.
That was a quick set, only about a 5-yard drop, and it was a little square out there by Harold. You see him make that move to the inside, and again a little move back. He's doing some dancing over there.
33 years old, and he looks like a kid out there bopping around. He needs one more catch. He right now, with 488 receptions, has tied Don Hudson. He needs one more to move into the top 10 all-time in the NFL. Inside handoff is Horace Ivory. Ivory has another 1st down. Moved inside the 15-yard line to the 14. Norris Thomas made the stop.
Boy, that is a real bonus when you can get a 15-yard play on 1st down on a run, and that really picks that quarterback up, Dandy.
Well, I think he did a lot of it on his own. I would say that the ability he has and the speed that he has to be able to bounce outside, there's not an awful lot of backs can do it. It was blocked up inside where I think the play was designed to go, and so most of that game you have to give to Horace.
2 fumbles and an interception marred the New England Patriots in the early going in the 1st quarter. They looked like they had put it together. They're moving with 2:09 remaining here in the 1st half. This is Calhoun, and Calhoun turns to the inside, gets to the 10-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 7. Don Shula with a worried look on that face. And there is the 2-minute warning. Ron Earhart, both of them know exactly how much this game means. In all probability, the loser will not go to the playoffs. We'll be back. 2 minutes remaining in the 1st half. I mentioned that most of these players, the coaches, feel that if they lose tonight, they will not go to the playoffs. The reason being that they do not suspect that Houston, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, San Diego, or Denver, all in the AFC, well, they believe that the wild card will come out of that AFC Central with Houston, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland, or the AFC West, San Diego, and Denver. That's what their concern is here tonight. Each will have 2 games remaining after tonight. New England will play the Jets, then Minnesota. The Dolphins will play Detroit. Then they'll play the Jets here in Miami in their finale. 2nd down and 8.
Worth watching Harold Jackson on top of your screen against Darryl Small.
Out of the backfield comes Horace Ivory.
Forget Francis.
Watch out. And he was going to Harold Jackson, but Francis also is in the area. Good coverage deep. Tim Foley back there. Those are the standings we were talking about. And I think the thinking of the coaches and the players of the Patriots and the Dolphins are exactly right. Because either New England or Miami is going to come out of this Orange Bowl tonight with 6 losses.
If I were Grogan, Don, I'd be thinking about Big 81 Francis down there. Not much room. You need somebody strong to push people around.
I think the key thing is the 3rd down. Fran, you also don't want any kind of interception, so maybe he is a good one.
3rd and 8. Morgan. And almost picked off.
And he had Francis open, too, coming across the middle.
Well, it would have been a hard throw rolling to his left. I'm surprised he even tried to make that throw because he was extremely well covered over there, looked like to me.
It was a bootleg play. The backs go to the right. He goes to the left and should set up. Francis is coming right under the right. He was coming open. That man was covered.
He likes the way Gerald Small runs his routes, I guarantee you, because he can hit him again. If Small had better hands, he'd have 2.
Out comes John Smith, 19 of 28 on the year.
Put up a star for the Dolphin defense. They did a good job to keep him out of the end zone.
.28-yard attempt to tie it up.
Right through the middle.
It is tied up. We're tied at 10 with 1:44 remaining in the first half. And you can feel it generating here in Miami, and we'll return in a moment. The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League and Dr. Bill Linkaitis. He's the team dentist in the center for the New England Patriots, and that's for real. Tony Nathan. Deep. John Smith will kick off. Tony Nathan, 3rd-round draft pick out of Alabama, where he did a little bit of everything for Bear Bryant. Tremendous athlete. Takes it at the 5. And Nathan moves to the crease and gets out to the 28-yard line, where Miami will take over. They have 1:38. They have 3 timeouts, and the momentum has disappeared and gone over to New England.
All right, Don, what would you do here? For minute 38, 3 timeouts, not quite the 30. Do you try to get something on the board, or do you run it out?
No, man, you got to go for the board. You got to get something up there. And really, that little run back by Nathan put him in a pretty good position. You're almost to the 30-yard line, so I think he can do most anything that he could do. You've got basically all your 2-minute drill left.
Don Strock remains the quarterback. The nicest word would be about Strock, he's been tentative. Steve Howell, left side. A yard and a half does the rookie from Baylor collect. It'll be 2nd down and 8, hit there by Julius Adams, who's playing over the right side in place of an injured Richard Bishop. New England, a timeout is called by Miami.
Yes, that reaffirms your tenderness. That was a tentative timeout at that particular point.
Don Strock slides over. There's Bob Greasy with the spectacles on. .28 remaining here in the half. While timeout is on, we'll tell you on ABC's Wide World of Sports. 5 o'clock Eastern Pacific, 4 o'clock Central Time, Saturday. World Cup Boxing, amateur action featuring strong squads from the Soviet Union and the United States. That's December the 8th, Saturday. And the World Gymnastics Championships, the most prestigious gymnastics competition, first time ever held in the United States. Among the world's top gymnasts expected to compete, the incomparable Nadia Comaneci, and the American Kurt Thomas, and he is really something else. All right, World Gymnastics Championships continue on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Saturday, December the 15th. That'll feature the individual all-around competition. Wide World of Sports, December the 8th and December the 15th. And December the 22nd, you'll see Flaming Leaves International Ice Skating Exhibition. Wide World of Sports, 2nd down and 8. Ball at the 30-yard line. Strock hangs it up. And he's picked off. Intended for Ronnie Lee, but is taken there by Ray Claiborne.
Well, that's good running by after he got that thing, too.
Claiborne back to the 41-yard line of the Dolphins. There's 1:13 on the clock, and New England has their timeouts. They have 2.
Yep, you can begin to hear them start yelling. This was Strock's 11th attempt. He has 2 completions and now 2 interceptions. Was not a particularly well-thrown ball. They had good defense back there. Claiborne, out of University of Texas, can run with that ball after he catches it, so now it's turned around, Francis.
But these were the same people a few weeks ago. They were yelling for Strock to play down here, Don. You mean they were going to go the other way now?
I understand that. Yeah, they may have changed their mind.
1:13. I said 2 timeouts. New England has their full complement of 3. The ball inside the 42-yard line. I don't think there's any question that New England will attempt to put points on the board from this field position.
And a touchdown is reasonable, Frank. Plenty of time and good field position for him.
Jackson goes left. He's been spectacular tonight. The speed burner. Morgan to the right. Right. Ooh. And almost picked off. Defensively, it was Ernest Roan, number 55, who almost collected it for Miami.
Some pretty good pressure that time, Fran. He didn't have much time to dilly-dally before he chose the receiver. Tried to fire it in there, and it was just pretty good defensive coverage back there.
Good defensive coverage. And Don, I look back at Shula's interview earlier that we played, and he said if things don't go real good, he wouldn't hesitate to put Greasy back in.
I would say.
And you have to look, will he put Greasy in the second half?
I'd say 2 interceptions, 2 completions out of 11 is not going well.
Second down 10. Horace Ivory. And Ivory escapes Bo Camper for additional yardage up close to a first down. He might be just a little short. Bob Baumauer is in there pressuring Steve Grogan.
He really was, Frank. He was right on Grogan, and Grogan's kind of hanging there a little cool. As soon as he got hit, knew the ball was completed, looked up, the referee says timeout.
Got to be impressed with Grogan tonight. He's done everything you want a quarterback to do. That time he had to throw the ball off balance. He either got a first down or close to it. And you're right, Andy. He called that timeout. He knew who that official was.
He knows where it is.
Yeah.
And it's his job to do it. I like to see that because that's the overall field generalship I think that most coaches look for. They want a guy out there that they really feel that's right on top of the game, and being aware of the clock certainly is a key factor.
We're down to 1 minute remaining in the half. We're tied at 10. And Grogan, meanwhile, is 12 of 18, 181 yards, and a touchdown to Harold Jackson.
His interception was really weird because that was the one earlier the first quarter. He had been going pretty good, turned around and really just missed his receiver by several yards and threw it.
Actually tipped by Rusty Chambers that caused it to be intercepted.
You think it was tipped?
Yeah, it was tipped.
Oh, it was?
All right,
I'll take it back then, because I thought he just turned around and hit small right between the 4 and the 8.
All right, they're short here of first down. Third and less than 1. 1 minute left. They got 2 timeouts left. I really think they ought to go get the first down and then do their thing. But I would run that ball up there and get that first down.
I think I might be tempted to run it twice if I didn't get it the first time, because I don't believe they're close enough for Smith, although he's having a good year point-wise. They may be a little bit out of his distance right there where they are.
Well, he's put one up once this year from 53 yards out, so
as I said, so they're not out of his distance.
It might have been in a hurricane. We don't really know. Third, less than a yard. Calhoun single setback, but Grogan, who likes to run the football, has no qualms about it whatsoever, and he doesn't do hook slides when he runs with it. He runs right into the defender. 2-minute offense set. The play has already been called in the huddle. The first down is at the 30-yard line. 45 seconds, the clock is moving. Grogan stops the clock. Tossing it in the general direction of Stanley Morgan. Good play.
It's not too late to have a quick visit with his left side over there and says, look, I'm getting a little bit tired of sitting here looking at Baumauer. If somebody wants to slow him down a little bit more, I sure would appreciate it. Isn't that what you talk to those offensive linemen?
You ask them kindly, and Baumauer has been in there a lot tonight, and sometimes as we watch John Smith warming up, he said, I'm going to get this left leg ready to go. He's playing over the center Titus some, and sometimes he's over Hannah. Right now he's over Titus.
2nd and 10. Quick snap. Draw play. Calhoun piled up. Baumauer again into the stop. He got help that time from Doug Betters, number 75.
For the benefit of all you viewers out there, that was not a good call.
Timeout called again by New England. They are now down to 1. And while you hear the partisan crowd because it's jam-packed, over 75,000 tickets have been sold, there are a lot of New England people down here. Billy Sullivan has been coming down here since 1966 and has never come away with a win. Decided, heck with it. We've been solemn. We've been tried it every other way. We're going to bring everyone. He brought the wives down. There were about 1,600 New England fans that came down, and Billy Sullivan put all the wives up in the hotel and said, live it up, guys. We've been losing the other way. Let's go have some fun.
I like that. I like that attitude. You're going to go do it, well, go ahead and do it.
Those top 2, by the way, they're number 1 and 2 in the NFL.
24 yards of reception, 22.3. Tell me this, Danny. Why has Harold Jackson been kicked around the league? You know, he really started at L.A., went to Philadelphia, back to L.A., had good years everywhere, and then here he is with his 4th team in essence.
I think maybe he might have been the kind of athlete that had that unique talent where other teams wanted him. Oftentimes when you trade somebody, it's because the team you're with doesn't particularly want you. But I feel that in Harold's case, he was just a good commodity. He was involved in a big trade from Philadelphia to get Roman Gabriel, and they just said, well, here's a guy that can play for us. So he's never been a real big receiver. He had good speed. Speed is not his #1 asset right now. I think now is experience.
And of course, he came in a year ago after the tragic accident to Darryl Stingley, who I'm sure is watching now, working in the personnel area with the New England Patriots.
I really hope they don't try to run the ball. They need to throw the ball, get it down there, and try to get a first down.
3rd down 9. 35 seconds on the clock. 1 timeout remaining for New England. Going for Russ Francis. Good defensive play by Tim Foley. He just would not let Russ Francis inside, and Russ is really hot. He's going to have a word with an official.
And you got an interesting penalty. There's a holding penalty on here. Watch Francis go down the field. There's Tim Foley battling. That's illegal to hit down there.
There's a holding call up at the line of scrimmage, but we wanted you to see that. Tim Foley played that really well. He just stayed inside, and Francis can't run over him.
Francis said, wait a minute. What is this, guys?
All right, here's an interesting decision. 10-yard holding penalty. Shula decides rather than make it a 4th down call to make him kick a 47-yard field goal to push him back more to the 39. If I were Brogan, I'd say thank you.
Well, here's the call.
Holding. Offense. Number 73. Still 3rd down.
John Hanna, the all-pro left guard, holding. It'll be 3rd down, and, well, we'll call it 19. Bob Matheson comes in defensively, and I think you're exactly right. Don Shula, who has a great deal of respect for John Smith, the little kicker for the New England Patriots, decided we better back him up. He might do something unreal.
All right, big play here.
Morgan is open. He got it. My God. Stanley Morgan beat the zone on the left side. Defensively was the rookie Mike Kozlowski. He got behind Norris Thomas and just outraced the rookie from Colorado, Kozlowski.
Watch down the bottom of your screen. They zone him, but the deep safety man did not get back to the corner fast enough.
Hey,
that's pretty good speed. That ball is well thrown. And it's just like I said, I would rather see John Smith, the Viper Miami, trying to kick a 47-yard field goal. Here's Morgan again. This makes a big difference in this game. He's just cruising on down there at about 9-3. Well, safety man never gets over there. That's Kozlowski, and he's getting burned.
I'll tell you, Kozlowski at Colorado probably never saw a speed like that. 4 receptions, 100 yards for Stanley Morgan. John Smith for the conversion. With 23 seconds remaining in the half of New England has gone out on top. At one point, you recall, they were down 10-0. They hacked and pecked away, and the momentum has swung, and New England's on the lead.
And Grogan is 13 of 20 for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns.
In the first half.
And there's old Stanley. We see all of you right there. Everybody sees you. Yep, we know you're #1.
He was a second first-round draft pick in 1977. Out of Tennessee, slightly built at 180 pounds, 5'11", but he can really motor.
Well, we talked about big players making big plays here tonight to make a difference. We've seen Harold Jackson and Stanley Morgan make big plays along with Steve Grogan. And they put their team ahead 17-10. And a while back before Schrock's interception, Danny, it looked bad for the Pats.
Well, it just seemed like they were going to have one of those kind of nights when things don't go well. They've been able to regroup it, and before halftime, they have jumped out to the 7-point lead.
To score a touchdown with 23 seconds left to go ahead is some kind of a big bonus.
Smith hammers it. Tony Nathan takes it at the 10-yard line.
Watch out.
Watch out as well. Nathan gets to midfield with 15 seconds on the clock. Taken there by Don Hasselbeck. The other tight end that would probably be starting for any team that did not have a Russ Francis. Just inside New England territory. And I'll tell you, if they have a kicker in Von Schaman that can kick it a long, long way, they're probably going to try and pick up 10, 12, 15 yards and bring Von Schaman out there. He'll have a little breeze behind him.
Frank, I would think here he needs to look for a 20-yard pattern. Now, to get that, he's got to do a big break-in over the middle about the 30-yard line or go to the deep corners on in front of the cornerbacks who are going to be very deep. But he's got to throw to one of the outside receivers either deep down the middle to either deep corner.
Ariel Harris goes right. Gary Davis is in there also. Cephalo's in there, as is Nat Moore. 15 seconds remaining in the half.
And offsides to work with.
It's down. It was New England offsides, or appeared to be, and this is Cephalo.
Down the middle.
He's at the 26-yard line. Scoreboard clock indicates 6 seconds. Again, a flag is down. It did appear that Tony McGee was offsides for New England, but we'll wait till we get the official call because it could be a critical one.
Here goes Cephalo. They're going to have a scramble to the right. You saw the flag go up. He's breaking down the middle. That's an open area in that prevent zone defense. He settled in there nicely, caught the ball, got it on down to the 26, 27-yard line.
And out comes Uwe von Schaumann.
Number 78, defense, decline.
It was Tony McGee.
What a pickup it'll be for the Dolphins if they can come back here and get this 3 points on the board. It will somewhat negate the New England touchdown.
It will be a 44-yard attempt. The holder, Don Strock.
No question about it.
And just as the time disappears from the scoreboard clock, the Dolphins draw within 4 of the New England Patriots. Exciting first half. We hope you're enjoying it. We have an interesting highlight coming up for you. A look at some of the top college prospects coming up. We have a special ABC News report. And, of course, we'll be going out to Las Vegas. Stick around. It's going to be an exciting second half when we return to the Orange Bowl. Halftime is winding down at the Orange Bowl. New England on top 17-13 over Miami. The special Thursday edition of ABC's NFL Football is being brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers, who invite you to stop in and see all the new Buicks now during their holiday get-together. And we'll be back with the kickoff after a word from our local stations. Bob Greasy warming up on the sidelines. Could he be coming in? We won't know, but we will know very shortly. John Smith will kick off for New England. Deep is Tony Nathan, a dangerous return man, the youngster from Alabama. Dribbles it along the ground. It's taken there. Well, it would have been by Gary Davis, but it goes out of bounds. And that will move New England back to their 30-yard line, where John Smith will put it in the air again. And on the sidelines, Don Strock, who opened the game at quarterback, has a warm-up jacket on. Bob Greasy has been warming up, and we anticipate that he will be the quarterback when Miami gets possession.
That relief pitcher job he was talking about, they called for him to come in and pitch the last 4.5, fella.
That's what he did a week ago against Baltimore. Bob Greasy on the year. Has been hot. He's been cold. We look at Tony Nathan. He'll move up close to the 10-yard line now as John Smith is backed up 5 yards after putting that ball out of bounds.
The thing about Greasy, I think, Frank, is he's so consistent.
And this will be Tony Nathan from his 12-yard line. He bobbles the football, collects it at the 20. And down he goes. And we talked to Bob Greasy last night. We talked about his problems, what has gone wrong this year. And here was Bob Greasy's reply as he moves in.
Well, I don't know what the problem was. If I knew what the problem was, I certainly would have corrected it in my own play. I don't, by any stretch of the imagination, think that it's the quarterback's fault entirely. Like I said, I think that the quarterback should be the catalyst to get the thing going. And in the past, I've seen things that we needed to change or adjust to, and I've done that to get it going. But for some reason this year, I just haven't been able to be as consistent and have the kind of year that people are used to me having, or I'm used to having myself. So when Don Strock has been in there, he's done a good job, and you know, I was all for the move. My attitude is let's get somebody else in there and see what they can do.
And Strock apparently could not do it to the satisfaction of head coach Don Shula here in the first half. So it's Bob Greasy. Larry Zonka over the right side on that first play, got 5 yards, out close to the 27-yard line. It'll be second down and 5. Much on the line. We told you that neither team feels they'll be in the playoffs unless they win tonight. They don't think 6 losses in the loss column will qualify for the playoffs. They feel that very strongly. Greasy, play action fake.
Intercept.
Dell Williams. Ball pounded up in the air. Rick Sanford, the rookie #1 draft pick from South Carolina, was in there on the blitz. Got his paw on the ball, but it went to Del Williams, but there's a loss back to the 20-yard line.
You know, Frank, they had a safety blitz on there. Many people say the screen's a great play against the blitz. It absolutely is not, because the linebackers and other safety men are locked into those remaining backs, and that's what happened there. They were locked right in there, because that's the only, they got to make that coverage.
The passing specialty team comes out for Miami. Tony Nathan is in there, the rookie from Alabama. Gary Davis, number 27. Zonka comes out. The tight end Hardy comes out. 3 wide receivers, Cephalo, Harris, and Nat Moore for Miami. On 3rd and 12. Greasy. And Tony Nathan.
All right.
Gets the first down out to the 40-yard line. And I really like this young athlete. He can do so many things.
I like that throw of Bob Greasy. Watch him come right here, set up in that pocket, cool as he can be. He just rips it right on out there. Good play by Greasy. Good start for him as he gets going in the second half. How many times have you seen a guy come off the bench and light up a team, Dandy?
Well, it sure does help, you know, because it's oftentimes it does just kind of change the rhythm out there. You talk about rhythm a lot, but that's such a big key, particularly that passing game.
Greasy, a little over 54% thus far this year in the times that he's played. 11 touchdowns, but he had 15 interceptions from the 38-yard line on first down. The handoff, Del Williams, he finds an opening and he moves out over the 45-yard line for a gain of 8.
Well, he's been there 4 plays. He's thrown twice. He's run twice. And our statistician, Jerry Klein, came up with one. Coaches say you got to balance this thing. Have a running attack and a passing attack. In the first half, talk about balance. New England had 22 rushes and 22 passes. That includes 2 sacks. Are you ready for the rest of it?
Yeah.
Miami had 13 rushes and 13 passes. Now, Jerry Klein, where do you keep your head, man? Right there in the middle. He's got it.
Ball just over the 45-yard line. A little more than 2 yards to go for the first. Handoff, Del Williams. And Williams, with a little extra effort, gets close to a first down. I believe he has it over the 48-yard line.
He's something that I think is just really an exceptional back. Fran, we saw him. He was not down here when they played Houston. He was out with an injury, but he's the only guy that's ever been in the AFC Pro Bowl and the NFC Pro Bowl. Only guy that's ever running back that's played for both the NFC and the AFC. He's also the only guy that's ever set rushing records for 2 different teams, the 49ers and here in Miami. How about that?
He did it last year here with over 1,200 yards. Has received a measurement coming up, and Don Shula gave up a lot for him. Del Williams, a first-round draft pick. He gave up a 5th-round draft pick, and he gave up Freddie Solomon, and Williams has got the first down at the 48-yard line.
Dandy, you've got a plethora of information there tonight.
A veritable plethora of insignificant trivia.
All right, Greasy's getting it going. He's moving it good. He's moving his offense around. This is a good run defense. I think by the stats of Don, what about half run, half pass? They're going to have to throw the ball on first down. Let's see if Bob thinks the same way. He knows how to run a football team, I'll assure you that.
Matt Moore goes right. Darrell Harris goes left. The wide receivers for Miami. On first down, Greasy to the air. Has the time, a lot of time. Throws to Zonka. And Zonka is in a tugging contest at the 45-yard line with Steve Nelson. It's a standoff, but a pickup of 7.
That's funny. That Steve Nelson is some kind of linebacker. As Fran mentioned earlier, leads the team by some 40 tackles as the #1 tackler there. As the North Dakota guy, you can see, had plenty of time to throw, which is a real key. Tried to come over and knock the ball down. And said, hold it, whoa, big zone.
Zonka actually took that ball away from Steve Nelson as our superb camera work.
He's got that kind of grin right there, says, I got it.
2nd and 3. Harris split to the left. Zonka gets a block from Del Williams, turns inside, gets the first down.
Danny, don't you know, as good as Del Williams is running the ball, don't you know those little cornerbacks, when they see Zonka coming around that pitch, just absolutely cringe and say, no, not to me again.
Yeah, particularly when he gets out on just a little straight pitch and has a chance to kind of turn upfield.
Again, the import of this meeting. Both teams tied for the lead in the AFC East. They've been tied 5 different occasions this season. And both of them feel that 6 games in the loss column will not qualify them for the playoffs, considering that Houston's 10-3, Pittsburgh is 10-3, Cleveland 8-5 in the Central Division of the AFC. And out in the AFC West, San Diego's 10-3 and Denver's 9-4. The first down inside the 42-yard line of New England. New England on top, 17-13. Handoff, Zonka, and the big one. Rumbles inside the 39 to the 38. Gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Mel Lunsford on the stop for New England. Miami next week will be in Detroit. Monty Clark has done wonders with Band-Aids up there. You saw the Thanksgiving Day victory of Detroit over Chicago. And then they return home for their finale. It'll be against the Jets. New England. They will be in New York for the Jets a week from Sunday. And then their finale will be at home against the Minnesota Vikings. 2nd and 7. Greasy. Going for Nat Moore. He has it. He'll be in. And Mike Haynes slipped on a great move to the inside by Nat Moore. Nat Moore was wide open. Greasy gets a touchdown.
All right, here comes Bob back in the pocket. Plenty of protection there, but he gets a little rush there. Gets the ball in good position. You see the defensive back slip down. Nat Moore, it's history.
Mike Haynes, he's as good as they come. One-on-one defensively. Watch the move to the inside. Haynes goes for it. And down he goes.
Tripped on his foot, tried to turn back around. Good move by Nat Moore.
Nat Moore's first catch of the night, a big one, 6 points. An official has been shaken up on the play, and he is being treated out on the field.
And I know that play doesn't make the Patriots fans happy, but that Mr. Greasy's come out here, his team behind 17-13, a lot of adversity, and he's put together as good a drive as we've seen all night. Put the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. Give the man a lot of credit.
Nat Moore, his 5th touchdown catch of the season.
He's really been very productive, Frank, in that touchdown category. Nat Moore, there's a lot of receivers that catch a lot of balls, and that's certainly one of them, as you see the official saying, I think it pinches right in here. I got a pinch in here.
That's Dick Dolak rubbing his knee, being attended to there as we see Uwe von Schaman coming on for the conversion attempt. 9:17. Remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Miami striking back and taking the lead. Miami leading the Patriots now 20-7 as the lead changes, just as the lead in the Eastern Division of the AFC has changed so many times this year. The man of the moment, number 12, Bob Greasy. It took a little more than 5 minutes. Greasy going 4 for 4 on his passing. And the Dolphins are out in front. Von Schaman will set it up. Alan Clark, rookie, 10th round draft pick from Northern Arizona. At the 5-yard line. Von Schaman hits it. And there's a duel for it, and Rick Sanford comes up with it. Sanford nailed at the 25-yard line, hustling down there. Don Besselou, a rookie out of Georgia Tech. Because of a late breaking news story at halftime, we could not bring you an NCAA piece that we had hoped to present to you. And of course, naturally, the crisis in Iran taking precedence over anything that might be taking place here in Miami tonight, most certainly. But it had to do, we polled 6 of the teams in the NFL, each team from each division, and get an idea who they thought would be the #1 draft picks. And if we have time and we can work it in without interrupting the game, we'll tell you the results of that poll. The teams, of course, wanted to remain anonymous. 1st and 10 New England. They were hot when the first half ended. Greasy came out and put Miami back in the lead. Let's see what happens. Horace Ivey gets the call on 1st and 10. Gets 5, moves out over the 30. Make it 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. As Kim Bokamper defensively for Miami made the stop.
You know, Don, it comes a battle of wills now. You've got a strong-willed quarterback in Brogan. He's got to put some life back into his team. He's got to put together a drive. Greasy's already brought his team out, took it from behind, and got them a drive. It's going to be an interesting quarterback battle as we go into the second half.
Brogan calls his own plays. 2nd down, 4. Calhoun, left side, and he runs in the Baumauer. Down he goes. Better's in there assisting. Gain of a yard and a half. It'll be 3rd and 3. Ron Earhart, who had an incredible coaching record at North Dakota State before joining New England in 1973, and of course became the head coach in April of this past year. Don Shula His son, by the way, David, was elected co-captain of the Dartmouth team. He's a spectacular receiver. His son up there will be co-captain for Dartmouth, catching Jack Kicks. Son Jeff Kicks passes next year in the centennial year of Dartmouth football. 3rd and 4. Grogan. Flag is down. And Grogan has the first, but a flag is down. Doug Fetters upending Grogan. That's Smarts.
Yeah, that one really hurt him.
Yep. Grogan had Morgan open, but Grogan is just as willing to run with the football if he sees he can get the first down as he is to throw the ball.
But as he gets more maturity and older, he'll use that great ability to get away from the rush and look for those receivers down the field.
Number 77, offense, still 3rd down.
Gary Petts, you'll see it. Activated a couple of weeks ago. You'll see it right there, 77.
He says, I can't get you down one way, I'll get you down another. As that didn't hurt her, he's at him. He just pulled him right down. Here he goes again. Another good shot. Got him by the shoulder pad and pulled him down.
Kozlowski comes in the secondary for Miami. They have 5 deep men. 3rd down, 14. Ball at the 22-yard line. Grogan's going down again.
Oh, boy.
Bo Camper again on the sack. Betters was also there, as was Carl Barisic. Barisic activated just yesterday, coming off the injured reserve. It'll be 4th down, and Miami has come out smoking here in the second half.
People like to talk about which team is up and which team is down, which, as you can see tonight, it depends on who's making the plays. That kickoff return just before the first half, up to the 50-yard line, the completion for the field goal is the thing that really has got this momentum back Miami's way.
Oh, that's a safety.
Boy, the worm has turned.
Again, Pete Brock, the center, he snapped it high over the hands of Eddie Hare.
Well, it sure does make a difference in a game that we expected to be so close anyway. That put them out of your basic field goal range.
2 points for the safety, and New England will kick away from their 20-yard line. They can punt it or they can kick it off the tee. That's the story. A safety. Ordinarily, Pete Brock is the center for New England. Dwight Wheeler was the center on that play over the outstretched arms of Eddie Hare. Safety, 2 points, Miami. And New England will kick from their 20-yard line. Behind their 20-yard line, they can either punt it or kick it from a hold, and they have elected to punt with Eddie Hare. Tony Nathan is deep for Miami, and obviously after the safety, there's a good possibility for good field position. Hare really pounds this one, however. Nathan all the way back to the 17-yard line. And Nathan to the 35. A good punt by Eddie Hare. Tackled down there by New England's Ray Costick.
That really was a good punt. Frankly, we mentioned earlier in the telecast, Eddie Hare ranks 28th in net yardage, but that time he really buckled it in there. You see Nathan's not particularly pleased, and he's not pleased with the way he judged that punt.
Greasy, who was so effective in the first series of this second half for Miami, moving them down the field. Touchdown pass, Matt Moore. 6:57 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And Greasy, of course, remains the quarterback. Zonka, inside handoff. Taken there, Ray Hamilton on the stops. Zonka, with all that power, gets a yard and a half out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 8. And in comes Gary Davis. Out comes Zonka and Del Williams.
You know, we talked about the wind there before, and I've played in this stadium, and the wind to me is one of the biggest factors in this stadium. And right now, Miami's going into the wind, so they're going to have it to their backs in the 4th quarter.
2nd and 8.
Wide open.
Greasy. Bruce Hardy, 1st down at the 43-yard line.
All right. Wide open, but right on the money. He got him right after his break. You'll see Hardy go down pretty deep, about 15 yards, a little bit deeper than you expect. Again, Bob's getting good protection there. Throws it right over the middle, and look at Hardy come right in. Wide open. Bam.
They mark it just inside the 43-yard line. 5:45, and the clock is moving here in the third quarter. New England having defeated Miami earlier in the season, 28-13. On first down, Del Williams behind Zonka.
Go down.
He took it, and he'll have it. He dropped the football.
Oh, they got it.
And I believe they got it back. Yes, they did.
That's when you know things are definitely going your way.
Nat Moore, I believe, came up with it, and a Dolphin is down.
All right, here's just a quick pitch out to Delvin Williams coming around the left side. You see Zonka in front. You see Larry Little. Zonka's trying to look for somebody, finds nobody, but Larry Little did. Stretching on down, Big Sam Hunt makes the tackle with a little help from Mike Haynes, and 3 Dolphins have got a lock on that ball, and somebody's down.
That's Del Williams. He is down. He's being attended to, and will be returning to the Orange Bowl in a moment. Williams cutting behind the block of Larry Little, and he will collide head-on with Mike Haynes, number 40. There it is. The ball comes loose. Nat Moore was there. Del Williams was on the ground for a few moments and then walked off the field. He is being administered treatment there on the sidelines, but he picked up the first down with a nifty run to the 29-yard line. Zonka comes back in, and Gary Davis stays in for Del Williams. Matt Moore in motion. Inside handoff. Zonka gets a block from Larry Little, and he moves inside the 25 to the 23. Gain of about 6.
You know, we've been here once before tonight. The Dolphins are up 10-0. Middle of the second quarter, about the same position on the field, and that's when things turned around. That's when Strock did the interception. Now they're down there again. Touchdown puts them up by, what, 12? Field goal by 8.
Makes one wonder, though, when you look at Shula's record, as we mentioned at the top of the show, winning record, to see him make a move like he did at halftime and see the result, you know, he may know something about this game.
Pretty bold move.
Second down. Long 4. Too much time. Twice this has been called tonight against Miami. And we hope you're enjoying tonight's game. It is a beauty. 3 more games coming your way in our package this year. There they are. Oakland at New Orleans.
That's next Monday.
Oakland, of course, they still feel they are definitely alive. And, of course, as far as New Orleans is concerned, they are tied with the Rams in the Western Division of the NFC. Then what Donnybrook we ought to have when Pittsburgh and Houston get together. Right now, as they go into this week's play, they are tied at 10-3. Denver at San Diego. And Denver will have to complete their schedule, 3 remaining games on the road, and it will not be easy. They'll go with Buffalo, they go with Seattle, and finally San Diego. Don Coryell has put together quite a group of Chargers. How about that quarterback, Dan Fouts? On 2nd and 10. Gracie under pressure from Tony McGee, hustles it off in the direction of Bruce Hardy, incomplete.
One of those kind of patterns that you really need some time to throw. He had a crossing pattern with Hardy coming from one side, trying to get Harris coming across the other. You just can't get those off very quickly, and he didn't have enough time to throw.
All right, here's Don Strock there, and he's got to be a very disappointed guy, but he's happy for Bob Greasy. Everybody in this game wants their team to do well, whether you're out there or not, and Strock just didn't have one of his better nights tonight, and Greasy's picking up the slack.
There'll be another day for Don Strock,
for sure.
3rd and 10. Goff for 41 yards on the night. He needs 20 more to become the 6th player in history to make 8,000 yards. 3rd and 10, a man open. Complete to Nat Moore. He has the first down. He's at the 17-yard line.
Oh, they're really clicking. Really clicking. They just got man-to-man coverage. And they said, hey, wait a minute, man, what's going on down here?
Working against Prentice McRae, moving back as a good receiver always will towards his quarterback. Minimize the time that ball will be in the air. They mark it closer to the 18-yard line, but the yardage was good enough for a first down.
No matter how Greasy's played up to this point in this year, he is doing some kind of job tonight, and tonight is the time when they really, really need it.
He's 6 of 7 for 89 yards. The opening drive of the second half for a touchdown. He was 4 for 4. The big bull to the 15-yard line. Gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Tanaka, who during the glory years in the early 70s put together 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons before he jumped over to the WFL. He now needs 17 to become the 6th back in the league's history to make 8,000 yards.
And Greasy's in a good situation here. You know, 2nd and about 7. He's in 4-down territory. He can do about anything he wants. It's a position the quarterback he really likes. Defense is really on the defense.
Matt Moore, top of your screen. Inside handoff, Gary Davis. And Gary Davis down close to the 10-yard line, short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and a long 2, upended by Mike Hawkins.
The Dolphins under Shula in the Orange Bowl here have only lost 11 games. Some teams have a real great tendency of playing well at home, and his counterpart right there on the other side saying, hey, what the heck is going on right now? Hank Bulla, the defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots.
3rd, and it's a long 2. Gary Davis, huge gaping hole. He has a first down. He would have had 6, but for Tim Fox.
Hank Bulla is the guy that's responsible, as we see this play again, for that New England defense called a monster man or a rover defense. The rover didn't come over here this time. There you come. The safety came out of the Michigan State when he had his #1 monster man was George Webster, #90. Boy, I remember him when he played. But that's the guy that calls those defensive signals, and that's the way they get the word in instead of shuttling it. He's doing it on the sideline.
Hank Bull, of course, was a co-coach when Chuck Fairbanks left the squad or was forced to leave the squad in the final game of the season here last year. Ron Earhart, of course, went on to succeed Fairbanks. Zarka, and he's close, but not close enough, down to the 1-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal. Steve Nelson on the stop.
And they've looked good in this 3rd quarter, haven't they?
I'll tell you, in case our viewers haven't noticed, the Miami offensive line has just taken charge of this game. They are just pushing the defensive line of the Patriots back, and we have a Patriot down. After hitting Zonka, he leaves a lot of them lying down.
The line is Kuchenberg, Newman, Mark Dennard, he likes to be called. Larry Little on the right side, playing with a very sore ankle. Mike Kern is the right tackle. They're moving the football against the Patriots. 58 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Buick introduces the 1980s.
Tim Fox moving off the field, limping slightly. We'll get a medical report as soon as possible. Meanwhile, back out on the field, Bob Greasy tries to quiet this partisan crowd.
And you know what Greasy's meant to this second half? The New England Patriots have only had 4 plays in the 3rd quarter for -2 yards.
2nd and goal. The ball at the 1-yard line.
Boom. Boom.
All right. Barca, touchdown. Right behind the middle of the offensive surge of this fine Dolphin line. He has to be so happy.
He really does. 9th touchdown of the year. Look at the rush. Big soft.
He's gone over 700 yards thus far for the season.
Yeah, these 2 old-timers, Larry Zonka, 32 years old, Bob Greasy, 34 years old. They've shown their maturity in class tonight, and they've taken charge of this game for the Dolphins when they need them the most. Well, there is no tomorrow.
Ron Shaman for the conversion. That's good. The Dolphins moving out 29-17. Last night when we talked to Bob Greasy, another question we asked him, Bob, what exactly Zonka meant for this Dolphin team on his return?
Well, #1, he's a class individual. He's a good guy to have around in the locker room. He helps just build the continuity of a ball club, not even to mention what he can do on a football field. Of course, his main suit is just handing the ball and letting him run over people. And He's done that for like almost 700 yards this year, and he gives us a solid, strong inside running game and a good blocking back for the halfback.
Talking about Larry Zonka. I talked to him, Fran. You mentioned, if we watch him score again, that he might give it up. I asked him that directly yesterday, last night that was, and he kind of laughed and giggled. He said, I hurt so much all over my body. He said, I'm going to give it a long thought before I make the decision. So who knows?
He really is pleased with his return down here, though, Frank, as you indicated. And he said it just seemed like it was one of those last second chances that so many people don't get. And that's really kind of what it is. That's literally what it is.
Don Shawman. Alan Clark, the rookie from Northern Arizona. We're going to have a fake reverse. And it didn't fool a whole lot of folks as Alan Clark rambles out to the 28-yard line. Don Westbrook came around as if he were going to take the reverse. He did not.
That is really an amazing graphic.
But let's look at the Patriots now. You know, they've got to say, okay, guys, we got 25 seconds in the third quarter and the whole fourth quarter. This is our season. We've got to make this drive go. We got to everybody work a little bit harder. And on the other hand, the Dolphins have got to stop them.
And they have lightning on either flank. And Stanley Morgan, 86, and Harold Jackson, who we've seen already tonight score, number 29. Flag is down. This is Horace Ivory in the arms of Kim Bocamper.
Well, if it's a holding penalty,
it is.
They're going to really, again, be back in that position. Yeah. Oh, man. They cannot get on track. The second half belongs to the Dolphins.
The word on Tim Fox. A slightly sprained ankle, if there is such a thing. The word is also that he will return.
All right, Francis, your team seems to be slumping a little bit here. Let's see if you were out there. Now, you've got to do something when you say to
Holding. Number 77, offense, still first down.
That's 2 on him.
Gary Petts.
You know, they continue to have problems with their offensive tackles, and Grogan did what he had to do, then he completed the pass. You've really putting a lot of pressure on your quarterback now to make him a 2nd and 20, and you're behind like you're behind.
New England penalized 6 times tonight, a 15-yarder, 4 10-yarders, and a 5-yarder. 1st and 20. Fired. Stanley Morgan. Incomplete. Stanley Morgan, the speedster from Tennessee. By the way, tonight and every night, as long as the situation in Iran remains critical, ABC News will bring you a special report immediately following your late local news. And if you've been following those late reports, you know it's complete, concise coverage by our people in Iran, also our technicians here in the States. Shelby Jordan, who missed last week with an injured knee, is coming at right tackle. He wears 74. He replaces Gary Petts. 2nd down, 20. Francis is open over the middle, but this is Stanley Morgan. Morgan has the first down, as right on target was Steve Grogan. And there it is, the end of the third quarter. The score, Miami 29, New England 17. We'll return for the fourth quarter in just a moment. The Starbrights supporting the Miami Dolphins.
It's good to have Andy Sedaris with us tonight directing.
Meaning what?
You can tell Andy Sedaris film, I don't care where you go. You know, the man's in show business. It's his life.
He's doing a superb job tonight. Here comes the blitz. On 1st and 10, Grogan gets to time.
He's got it.
And he's got the big man, Russ Francis. He has a first down at the 30-yard line. He has been open much of the night.
You can see those big rib protectors he had. He's been struggling a little bit with some nagging injuries all year, too. And so is Don Hasselbeck, another good, fine tight end coming in there. But Russ is the guy that really is kind of a game breaker for him. Exceptional athlete.
And the difference these last 2 plays is Grogan has had plenty of time to throw the football, and he's found his receiver.
He's wearing those big pads around his ribs and his back. He had a cracked transverse process in his back. Missed a couple of games earlier in the year. Still bothers him. Russ Francis. On 1st and 10, Grogan to the air once again.
He's got him.
Francis is open.
He caught that ball.
No, he did not catch it, but it was sure close.
Oh, he came so close. Oh, man, Russ, what an effort. Son, what an effort.
He's playing hurt. We just told you the problem he had early in the year. He made a tremendous diving effort, and when you fall like that, it hurts.
You know, Frank, I think about a story. You know, he had a really very severe accident, a motorcycle accident this last offseason, January the 7th, after the season was over. And he really was knocked unconscious, had several bruises, several cuts. But you look at a guy and you see him go this kind of effort, Fran. Now, the ball is overthrown, but just for the effort. And he fell right on the ball. And I'm assuming that that's what knocked the breath out of him. I hope that's all that's wrong.
I lost a pair of ribs myself in Pittsburgh one time by falling on the football, and that appears to have been what happened to Russ Francis. We'll be back in a moment with a report. In addition to the Pittsburgh-Penn State game, we will also have coverage, regional coverage, live 12:30 Eastern Time of the Amos Alonzo Stagg Bowl, the NCAA Division III Championship game. That'll be Ithaca at Wittenberg. Also, the NC Division II semifinals, Alabama A&M against Youngstown State, and Mississippi College at Delaware. NCAA college football coming your way this Saturday. Russ Francis remains on the turf. I'll tell you the teams that we polled, we told them we would not, but how about these guys? Brad Buddy from USC, there they are. Bruce Clark, Penn State. Curtis Dickey, Texas A&M. Junior Miller, Nebraska. Jim Richard, North Carolina State. Billy Sims, of course, from Oklahoma. James Stuckey. Anthony Munez, USC. And these are all that were on at least 4 of the 6 teams that we polled.
Isn't there a name there that you would expect to be there that's not there? And that's Charles White, and he's not really in that top one that's in there. That's kind of surprising.
He made half the teams.
Half of them. Big Lamb Jones out of Texas, Ronald James, Tennessee, Tim Foley, another Tim Foley here out of Notre Dame, and Stan Brock.
Question mark. Obviously, Charles White, he's a 185-pounder, but it's a lot of 185 pounds. He carries the ball some 30 times a game. Led the nation, of course, in rushing.
I found it interesting because you're talking about the sophistication of pro drafting, and we talk so much about how you build teams through the draft and whether you do or whether you don't. But they really didn't agree that much, so maybe there are some secrets that the different teams have.
Now, looking down in the field, look at the entire New England Patriots have moved out on the field. They're looking down to where Russ Francis a moment ago reached for, almost made one of the most incredible catches you would ever see. Fell on the football.
Frank, you know, something else I noticed with that turn, also his head. He didn't have his hands were all trying to grab the ball, so his head hit the field pretty hard too.
There is the respect and admiration that his entire team feels for Russ Francis.
Yeah,
they moved out on the field. They're staring down to where he is being treated at the moment, being placed on a stretcher. We'll get a report to you as quickly as possible.
Frank, as I sit up here and reflect on the effort that Russ Francis gave, I hear so many people saying that the kids aren't like they used to be, and the modern-day players don't work as hard as the players did when we come up. That's an example there of what they do. He sacrificed everything he had to go make the catch. He didn't, and he hurt himself in doing it. But a tremendous effort by Russ Francis, and we've gotten tremendous efforts from all of these people here tonight in a fabulous football game.
Again, we'll give you a full report as quickly as possible. Scoreboard clock, I do not believe, is accurate. I think it's 14:09. It indicates 4:09. 14:09 remaining in the fourth quarter. Play resumed. Second down and 10. The ball inside the 30-yard line of the Miami Dolphins. The score, the Dolphins 29, the Patriots 17. Grogan in trouble. Drops the football. That'll be Miami's ball. Doug Betters, I believe. Well, there's a mad hassle for it.
It all started with a breakdown in the right offensive tackle. We pointed out a couple of times that Pet's been called for holding. Shelby Jordan, who's playing injured, came in. Then Herter's been having a heck of a night over there. It was really forced from that outside. I'm not sure if it did hurt at that time, but it did come from that section to that side.
I think it's Ernest Roan who came up with it as Grogan looks downfield, can't find anyone, pulls it down. He loves to run with the football.
There was a shot. It did come in over Shelby Jordan's
stripped by Betters
side of it, but actually that was Bo Camper that time.
You know, almost unnoticed down here, Doug Betters has moved ahead of A.J. Dewey in the starting lineup for the Miami Dolphins. A.J. Dewey's still a fine player, but Doug Betters has beaten him out. He's playing better.
First and 10, Miami. The cool one, Bob Greasy at the helm. The ball at the 29-yard line. Moore in motion. Zonka gets the call. It's fun to watch. Flag is down. Zonka gets out to the 32-yard line.
Frank, when you reflect, look at the last 3 plays. The Patriots, we all know, and most of the fans watching, I'm sure, know how important Russ Francis is to that New England team. He's out 1 play. You see a fumble by the next play. That's Grogan. The ball turns over. They give the ball to Zonka, and now you have an unnecessary roughness penalty. So that's 3 plays in a row, and it's just kind of could be the 3 key plays of the whole season, because if they don't win this ball game, they're out of it.
There's Claiborne on the stop, and there is a late shot coming in there. Steve Nelson.
Late hit, number 57, defense. First down.
And it goes against Nelson. Moves the ball out to the 48-yard line of Miami. This game played on the thin edge tonight of emotion. So much at stake. Our report is Russ Francis was knocked temporarily unconscious. They feel that there might be some damage to the neck. He will be x-rayed. Here comes Gary Davis, left side. Good open field tackle there. Tim Fox. Gain of maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Steve Grogan. He still feels, I'm sure, that he has the time, and he does. But they're going to have to screw the wheels back on, because when Bob Greasy opened the second half, he did a masterful job moving Miami length of the field, following the kickoff. 4 for 4 he went, finally connecting with Nat Moore for the touchdown. They've been in control ever since Greasy has come off the bench. 2nd and 9. Movement, but no flags. Gary Davis. And Davis across midfield.
Boy, is that Nelson fired up out there.
I'll tell you, that was
They're all getting fired up.
Nelson was just knocked down with a hard block by Larry Little and came back and made the tackle. Unbelievable.
And back in the secondary, Zonka got in the fight. I'm telling you, they're getting active. It's Tim Fox back there. A little quick swing out to the outside. You see Little coming out to set up from it. Swing to Davis.
There goes Nelson. And Nelson gets back up, and he's back into play.
Harry Davis moves close to the 48-yard line. It'll be 3rd down, long 6 for Miami. And it's heating up. The 3 wide receivers for the Dolphins. Hardy out of the lineup. Cephalo comes in. He's number 81. Harris, of course, 82. Nat Moore, 89.
And they're coming after him, and look at that.
Open. Oh, Tony Nathan, the rookie from Alabama. Close to the 35. They're marking it to 36, but it's a Miami first down. Now, Tony McGee was all over Bob Greasy. He just coolly dropped it off to his setback coming out of the backfield.
You give, to me, that's an example where you give really 99% of the credit to the quarterback, because they had a maximum blitz coming in there, and that's where that experience comes in. He just sat back there. He knew how to go with the punch, flipped it out, and a really big one.
Greasy now working on the clock. 11:48 remaining in the game. 29-17, the Dolphins over the Patriots in this so important game. Zonka. Zonka down to the 23-yard line. Another first down. Tripped up by Ray Hamilton. It would have been a long way for Zonka to go, but he certainly intended to make it.
There's a shot of Ed Newman, who runs over Tim Fox, who comes up from the secondary. They're going to try to turn that thing in. The big Zonk just came behind him, and look at that stat, Frank.
He's a lot of class.
6th player in the history of the league to rush for over 8,000 yards. And Greasy has got him motoring on down, killing the clock, getting first downs.
Super job of the offensive line. Many of them playing hurt in there tonight. Zonka again. Just carries big Sam Hunt all the way down to the 15-yard line, a gain of about 8.5 yards. The big backer, Sam Hunt, who goes up there somewhere around 260, had himself a pretty tough Bronco to ride.
Not anything fancy. Hand the ball left and right to Zonka. And he's just chewing up ground behind an offensive line that's completely dominating the New England defensive line.
Easy now. Easy now.
New England moves to a 4-man front. Understandably so. They're getting bombed by that offensive line in their 3-4. Hand off. Gary Davis down to the 12-yard line. Has the first down. Heading for 10 minutes. Scoreboard clock a little messed up. But we're inside 10 minutes.
Not that the Dolphins have to settle for a field goal in this situation, but a field goal would put them 15 points up, which would obviously force the Pats to go for 2 touchdowns and a field goal. And it would be very difficult to do.
This drive started at the 29-yard line. Zonka. He had a collision. First with Rick Sanford, and then was stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Second and 10. The big man has been working tonight, and he loves it.
Yes, he does.
The grubbier it gets, the more he likes it. Granted, he's not what he was when he was rattling off those 1,000-yard seasons, but we heard Bob Greasy speak emotionally about what he has meant to the ball club, the Dolphins. I think he has meant that to Don Shula. And I think Greasy spoke for this entire Dolphin ball club.
Oh, got us a little new formation here. Come on. Lip. Didn't work.
Oh, we'll file that one. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Talking with Zonka last night, we talked about the hurts that he's had here and there. We asked him what it really has been like this season, his comeback season. Here was his reply.
Craig, I've got hurts from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head. It's been a kind of a bruising affair. My running style has always kind of incorporated that. But I'm afraid I'm even slower than what I was 10 years ago. And people get to me quite a bit more, but I'm very lucky in the sense I have a very good offensive line. And they keep people off of me.
Larry Zonka, and it always seems to hurt it late in the season. He's rattled off 76 yards tonight.
He's rolling away. That's smart.
That loads it. That was.
Ray Kostick was in there on the blitz for New England. We're going to see Von Schaumann with 8:09 remaining.
Smart move, though, friend. When you say you got a guy that, how many times have you seen quarterbacks with maybe not that kind of experience or poise really screw up? They throw an interception.
We've seen it happen this year many times, and he gave himself a chance to get the ball in the end zone with the pass play. Saw it wasn't there, threw it safely away. Now they have a chance for the field goal to go up by 15.
Field goal, a successful one by Von Schaumann. Would mean that New England would have to do more than 2 touchdowns. 27-yard attempt. Splits the uprights.
Was off to a 13-0 lead. They had a critical turnover on a drive right before the half, enabled them to come back. So it's in a way not too surprising that actually, I guess, as far as the favorites, because of this home field advantage, Miami was a favorite, but I don't think by this margin at all. New England has made too many mistakes tonight.
If you're wondering if it should go down to a tie after the regular season, the first criteria to break that tie is head-to-head competition. If Miami wins tonight, they will have split. The second criteria is record within the division. That, of course, will be predicated on the remaining 2 games by either team. This is Zonka. Down he goes, and the flag goes down with him. Both teams had lost 2 division games when they came into action tonight. Offsides indicated against New England. As we showed you this several times because it is so pertinent to the situation here in Miami tonight. Both teams, and they said it repeatedly, that they felt 6 losses in the loss column would not qualify them for the playoffs because of the action of 3 teams in the Central Division, Pittsburgh, Houston, and Cleveland, and a pair of teams out in the Western Division, San Diego and Denver. Second down, 6. Ball at the 41-yard line of the Dolphins. Zonka, single setback, gets the call, left side. Follows the block of Newman, gets to the outside, up into there. He was hit by Mike Haynes. That was a good tackle. Hunt. remind you, first Monday night, we're going to be in New Orleans for New Orleans, and they're in a battle with the Rams for the Western Division of the NFC. Following Monday night, we'll be in Houston, the Astrodome. Pittsburgh will also be there. And what a Donnybrook that's going to be. Our final game of the season, December the 17th. Well, Denver and San Diego will get with it out in San Diego. There it is. 3rd down and 4. Ball at the 43-yard line, and frankly, it has turned a little cool here tonight. Timeout. New England is going to threaten the blitz. They'll probably come with it, trying to strip the ball. 3rd down and 4 for Miami.
Oh, no.
Tony McGee jumped off sides for New England, and Miami gets the first down as Larry Zonka carries it out to midfield.
Those are things, Frank, that you just don't do those kind of mistakes. I don't care. It's a big, crucial 3rd down play. They made it anyway, but the one thing you don't do is jump offside.
You know, Don, they've done it the entire night. The Dolphins have had much more poise. They've had holding penalties against the Pats, offsides, a lot of mental errors.
78, defense, decline, first down.
Well, you're right, because Brandon really did kind of start in the first quarter. We saw New England hold the ball for almost, I think, 11 minutes of the first quarter, and yet they didn't put any points on the board.
Well, they hurt themselves.
8 penalties against New England thus far tonight. 80 yards penalized. They turned the football over 4 times. And it's reflected on the scoreboard. 32-17 Miami.
That's what you call midfield.
Gary Davis. Oh, and he is met solidly there by the big backer, Sam Hunt.
Little trivia, you know. I like trivia.
Big gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
It's Gary Davis out of Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. Has 3 of the 10 longest runs in Dolphin history. The second most productive day as a runner when he gained 176 yards. He's one of these guys that can do a lot of things, catch the ball, run to, good speedster.
2nd and 6. Nat Moore in motion. Zonka gets the call. Very Little tries to hook block unsuccessfully. Hunt is there again as Zonka gets to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. It'll be 3rd down 6. New England trying to win in the Orange Bowl as we look at John Hanna, the all-pro guard for the Patriots. New England trying to win here for the first time since 1966. And it doesn't look all that hopeful.
Oh, John hadn't been in the field much the second half. The Patriots have had the ball for 14 plays the second half. 2 of those were punts, and one of them was a safety. Very difficult to win the football game when your offense isn't on the field.
Yeah, didn't look like he was looking for a happy Christmas, did he?
No.
Bob Greasy, the cerebral one. He'll let that 30-second clock tick down, as he has now, to 2 seconds, and he gets the snap. Gary Davis, piled up. Across the 45 of New England to the 44, but it'll be 4th down. He was stopped there by Mark Cuban. Punting situation for Miami. George Roberts comes out. Greasy. It's a smattering of applause as he moves to the sidelines. Stanley Morgan drops for New England to his 10-yard line. Morgan, the speedster from Tennessee. Having a great year in the receiving department. Leading the entire NFL yards per catch. And he has not been able to use that speed thus far here this evening. The 5-yard penalty. They just wanted to use all the seconds they could on that clock.
They used 59 of their possible 60 seconds on those last 2 plays. The point you made about Bob Greasy, I think, is a very good one, Frank.
Still 4th down.
He let it run down until the very last possible second to run that 3rd down play. So they used up 60 seconds, and they need all the play help they can get.
Like his coach Don Shula, Bob Greasy is a perfectionist. He's shown it here in the second half. 3:16 now indicated on the clock. Roberts set to punt. He's letting it count down once again. Roberts angling for the corner. Fair catch in bounces into the end zone, touchback. Just one more reminder. Tonight and every night, as long as the situation in Iran remains critical, ABC News is going to bring you a special report, and that will follow immediately your late 5 remaining. Don?
Well, you try to hit a guy wide open.
Of course, Ivory.
Yeah, somebody that's fast.
And he gets dumped by Bob Matheson, but he has the first down out at the 33.
Yeah, that's what you do first. And then you run up there real quick like.
And having called a play in the huddle.
Yeah, you call a play in the huddle. And you say, all right, I want another one of you guys to get wide open, just like Harsh did.
And then you start pulling for Detroit next week.
That's right.
On first down.
But I'm going to throw this one
over the middle. And Don Westbrook bobbles it.
Then you get Westbrook back there and you say, look, Don, the next time I throw you one, keep your eyes on it until you caught the ball, then turn around and throw. You can see right there on the sideline, that's a guy that's taking it very serious, Tim Fox. Good player, had a slight injury to his ankle earlier in this ball game, but these guys know that, hey, their season is in jeopardy. That's putting it mildly.
Again, New England plays the Jets in New York. A week from Sunday, they close at home against Minnesota. A week from Sunday, Miami travels to Detroit. That's not going to be all that easy against Monty Clark's troops. And then they return and they play the Jets in their finale here. 2nd and 10. Grogan. High in the air, it's picked off. Colsey. Neil Colsey. That ought to about do it.
It was already done before that. But it's still a nice run back.
Colsey all the way inside the 5-yard line.
Well, it started out to be something really pretty close, pretty good. It kind of got away from them. That last pass, again, the Patriots, as we mentioned earlier, had a lot of injuries in their offensive line. Shelby George is playing injured tonight. He came in after Petch went out. That last interception, at least, is partially responsible for that right side because Shelby got turned upside down. Grogan did have to press it a little bit. They had good defensive coverage, overthrew his receiver, and Colsey picked it up.
You know, you got to give Grogan credit. I mean, here's time ticking down. He's back there throwing, trying to do something to win. Cannot fault him for the interception. He's got to take chances. He's got to gamble to give his team a chance to win. He's played very well tonight. The reason for defeat is not his.
And by the like token, Fran, Miami knew exactly what Grogan had to do. They were in their 5-man deep prevent coverage. Grogan had to go up on top. He had to get the points on the scoreboard quickly.
That's really true.
It's been a good football game.
Yeah, and it just got in a hole. They made too many mistakes. It sounds very simple, but that's really what happened. These guys just made too many mistakes.
Isn't that usually the case?
Yeah, it really is.
Often few times are you beaten. You beat yourself many times. Zonka to the 2-yard line, 2nd and goal.
I bet they're going to try to get Zonk 3 touchdowns tonight. What do you bet? And just keep running him.
Larry getting up just a little more slowly than he was in the first quarter, but he's up, limping a little bit. You heard him talking about all those aches and pains.
I love it. He says, I'm even slower than I used to be.
Got a birthday. He'll be 33 years old coming up Christmas Day. That's the 2-minute warning. We have timeout on the field. We'll be returning to the Orange Bowl in a moment. Orange Bowl. It was sold out. The last remaining tickets bought by our ABC affiliate station, Channel 10, here in Miami to provide lifting of the blackout. And our press box report is that Russ Francis is up and talking. He's walking around in the locker room. We hope that is true. We wish him the very best. Zonka gets the call on 2nd and goal, piled up. And he gets in.
Well, I thought they stopped him, but he just
kept churning.
Yes, sir. There he goes, Zonk.
What's that? 3 for the night.
That's 3 for the night. Puts him at 10.
Standing ovation for Larry Zonka.
Yeah, that's really great. You see the guys on the sideline. They got him a player there. As Bob Gracie, I think, put it pretty well. He adds an awful lot just being part of this team, whether it's in the locker room or on the field. Tonight you see him on the field score 3 touchdowns.
Von Schaumann getting a workout tonight. And handling the chores rather well.
39-17. Would you believe that?
I would not have believe that. And as they always say, isn't it fun to win? But it sure hurts when you lose one like this.
1:56 on the clock. The New England player is down on the field. The Dolphins 39, the Patriots 17. Well, we talked about the remaining games. Both teams have a common opponent in the New York Jets. And interesting to recall, as it was recalled for me, quite frankly, the Jets have knocked off Miami the last 3 times they played them.
Pass it back. Seems a little shaken up there. That's the number 2 guy on the tight end position, replacing Russ Francis.
Yeah, he's a good one, too. He's 6'7", 245-pounder, and as I said earlier, he'd well be starting for a lot of teams around this league if he wasn't playing on a team that had a Russ Francis.
His art displayed publicly, which he says was as scary as anything he's ever done. So that was really very personal. Let other people come in and take a look at it. It becomes something else.
And an artist and a motorcycle rider.
Yeah.
Playing that tight end position.
I understand he paints better than he rides that motorcycle.
Ron Shalman pops it. Alan Clark from the 5-yard line. And Clark runs into traffic out around the 23-yard line. Struggles forward to the 24. Mike Kozlowski made the stop there. That's what it's going to look like in 1 minute and 48 seconds in the Eastern Division of the AFC.
Buffalo's had a good year, haven't they, Frank? When you consider, yeah, people picked them way on the bottom, and Chuck Knox has gotten some guys together. Ferguson's leading the league in the passing. They've got some good young players.
How about Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland really's been doing well, but Buffalo, of course, upset New England last week in an overtime game that I understand was really exciting and well played. So it looks like it's not a good year for New England once again.
New quarterback. Whether no, Steve Grogan does remain. This is Don Westbrook.
There he is, number 53.
Gain of 7. Second down 3, 2-minute offense. Disappointing night for New England. They got a touchdown for the first time in 3 years, but again, they have not won since 1966 in the Orange Bowl. A.J. Dewey in there pressuring. Steve Grogan, incomplete. Reminder, Monday night, we'll be trucking over to New Orleans. New Orleans and Oakland. New Orleans, of course, tied with the Rams in the Western Division of the NFC. Those are those standings. How about Atlanta, Fran? You're pretty close to that situation down there.
You know, I really am, and I know the people there well. And there's a report out earlier in the week that Lehman Bennett's job was in jeopardy. That's absolutely not true. Rankin Smith, Eddie LeBaron, the owner and general manager there, are solidly behind Lehman Bennett. They're a family. They've done a wonderful job. Bennett had them into the playoffs last year for the first time. He is a quality coach and will be the Atlanta coach for many years.
So much for that report.
Yes, sir. And you did
first down to Horace Ivory. Ivory out to the 40-yard line. And while we're talking about coaches in jeopardy, one was over-jeopardized, the great pal of ours, Bud Wilkinson. I hope he stays in the game. He did a good job bringing St. Louis along.
Well, he really did. You never know, or at least I don't know all the circumstances. You see Grogan do something that quarterbacks don't like to do, but it's that time of the year.
And he gets the first down.
Yep. He got it in there. At least they're not throwing in the towel. Totally, I don't know why.
Stops the clock with 44 seconds. Using a New England timeout.
You know, talking about
Wilkinson, excuse me, Fran, for those of you who may not have heard, dismissed the St. Louis Cardinals owner Bill Bidwell yesterday.
Frank, you know, when they hired him, everybody thought it was a joke, but I thought Bud Wilkinson did an excellent job. He lost Conrad Dober before he even lined up as coach. He lost his great breakaway back, Terry Metcalf, his great outside receiver, Ike Harris. He had a team that was disgruntled with the ownership down there, but Bud Wilkinson made them competitive. And I hate to see him go. He's a quality man and has proven that he's a quality football coach.
Speaking of quality coaches, Dick Nolan's doing quite a job. My old teammate with the New Orleans Saints. He's got him up there rolling along. And if you haven't seen him, you got to look at Chuck Munson.
Yeah, we're going to go down and see him. I'm really looking forward to coming to New Orleans. And look out, center. I'm on my way.
Well, those stats don't mean a thing to Steve Grogan, I know, but he has been impressive tonight. He has really tried to rally his team the entire night and did rally his team. Again, I say again, he did not lose this game for his team tonight. It was the mental mistakes that his team was making the entire evening.
That does say an awful lot. there.
Sanford, the #1 draft pick out of South Carolina.
Who said it was going to be easy?
Yeah, you didn't tell me about things days like this.
Grogan on first down, 49-yard line of Miami. You're wondering why he wants to continue to keep the Patriots involved. If you ever get down to one of those final tiebreakers, somewhere way down at the bottom, it could even get to points scored. Point differential. Final one timeout remaining for New England.
Last pass was a beautifully thrown ball. Grogan has been criticized by a lot of people, and sometimes even out of the ABC booth, for being very erratic and not a particularly good passer. I think we mentioned earlier in the contest he has completed less than 50% of his passes on the year. But tonight he's had an exceptionally good game. He's had 300-yard games, I believe, 4 this season. He's had another one tonight.
They will not win consistently in this league, regardless of their talent.
From the 27-yard line, Grogan back on first down.
There's another one.
And Norris Thomas was juggling the ball when he went out of bounds. Incomplete. Executive producer of ABC Sports is Win Arledge. The special Thursday edition of ABC's NFL Football has been produced so capably by Dennis Lewin and directed by the diminutive one, Andrew Sedaris out of SMU. Our technical director, Bill Morris. Our associate director, Rob Biner. Our technical manager, Coach Coltrane. Unit manager, Dennis Zabo. 2nd and 10. On the 27-yard line. Requesting you saying turn out the lights. You don't have to, though.
34-4 versus AFC East. That's really wild, isn't it?
2nd and 10. Grogan. Incomplete. Intended for Calhoun. Clock stop. 23 seconds.
You mean, when you said that, Frank, it was as if you didn't think very many folks do.
I think Susan painted that.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all.
You make Willie Nelson sound like Perry Como.
Must end. What do you mean? Weeping Willie Nelson. Oh, me. Well, that's the way it goes.
I saw him last night on the show.
Yeah.
Willie has really got some miles on him.
Well, let me tell you something. They were all intentional.
3rd down and 10.
Look at it.
Incomplete. Carlos Pennywell downfield for New England, just activated yesterday.
Make the world go.
Again, we want to remind you, coming up tomorrow night, 3 championship fights. Of course, the headline, if you follow this young man from Montreal, nice young man. And gifted, of course, he's fighting Wilfred Benitez, who is also undefeated. And, well, there's a lot of people say that maybe Sugar Ray has come too fast, too far.
We'll find out tomorrow, won't we? And the coach will be right there telling us about it.
From Las Vegas. On 4th down, Grogan. Horace Ivory. He's got the first down, and he's running out of seconds. They stop it, does New England, with 5 seconds. And that's it for the timeouts.
It is hard. Miami's won the last 12 games, the last 12 times they've played. That doesn't really...
I'll give you another obscure fact that I scrounged up somewhere.
I love those. Let me have one.
Shula has started quarterbacks 15 different times, other than this man, Bob Greasy, here in the Orange Bowl, and he's never lost a game, starting either Strock, Morrill, or
whomever.
That would be it. That would be
Strock and Morrill. Strock and Morrill. And the old Zonkster had a good night tonight. Look at those stats. He didn't make it over 100, but 22-88. He's keeping it even. Go from 3. 22-88 equals 3.
Grogan, this will be in the end zone. He wants points. Again, if you're wondering why, well, if you get down to one of those obscure tiebreakers, the point differentials will make a difference.
Wow. He got
Carlos Pennywell.
He got it.
Grogan, with no time on the clock, hits Pennywell for a touchdown.
And I'll tell you, that was a heck of a throw again. He came back and rifled that one. Pennywell was there. He was pretty well covered, but he hit him right in the middle.
Give the man credit. He hung in there and he kept pitching, and he finally got him another touchdown.
They'll have to clear the field for the conversion attempt.
I think, Frank, we should actually give a little credit to our colleague tonight who has been playing with with a great deal of pain. He's got some cold. It's the difference between pain and injury, right, Fran?
And I'm convinced it's now injury. It's gone beyond pain.
He is not feeling well before this contest, and he's now, it's over, Fran. It's going to be all right.
Thank goodness. To bed I go.
It has been cold here tonight, and I'll go along with you, Don.
Yeah,
Fran has been playing hurt tonight.
Yeah, he played with injury. Show me some style, fella. He's been sick all day.
Grogan now 350 yards. The conversion is good. I want to remind you again, Russ Francis, our last report was he's up walking and talking in the locker room. It's over in the Orange Bowl, and it could well be over for New England. Against the New Orleans Saints from the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. More people fly United to Hawaii than any other airline. This has been a presentation of the leader, ABC Sports, bringing you exclusive coverage when the world comes to America this February for the 1980 Winter Olympics.